Timothy Bradley, Paul, Floyd Mayweather, Devin Alexander, and whoever the fans want to see.
Listen, I told you give them something visual, so you went ahead and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone 6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.
All right, man. Yeah, it's your boy Zone 6 coming at you with another video as usual. All right, so we're gonna keep on cooking. I'm trying to catch the afternoon crowd just to get back into a rhythm. I caught the morning cycle, and we talked about some good boxing earlier today. We're gonna keep on pushing on. If you haven't, please go check out the video that I did earlier. It was a good one featuring Zoe Money. It was boxing talk, certain styles, boxing talk 19, certain styles and emotions and stuff like that. I was inspired to do that from my boy, hold on for a second, D Block Express. Yeah, so just checking everything, make sure the technology good. So D Block Express, appreciate the question about can Errol Spence do anything to improve, so forth and so on. Now, we do got to pay respect to that particular fight because now I am talking about Terence Crawford beating Canelo Alvarez, my thoughts. Okay. Now, however, let me give you a caveat. This is boxing talk, and we do hypotheticals, we do fantasy matchups. We talk about fights that are actually going to happen and ain't going to happen and what should and shouldn't happen. So let's go ahead and lay a foundation now, right here, real quick. This Terence Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez is my initial thoughts that we're going to comb through. I'm going to drop the link for people to give their opinion and agree or disagree with me or be kind of neutral on the standpoint. Now, we understand that some of you guys are sassy. I don't feel like hearing, I only want to talk about this and I only want to talk about that. Go do some shit on your other channel. We're talking about this right now. This is what the fuck I want to talk about. Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez in the hypothetical match because it's getting traction and it's something to talk about. This doesn't mean that this is a guarantee to happen. Okay? First of all, Jamel could go in here in a few weeks and completely splat Canelo brains out over the canvas. Something can go terribly wrong. And now we have a shockwave sent through the box community. Jamel Charlo did the unthinkable. Go up here, beat Canelo Alvarez to jump up 2 weight classes and become undisputed at 168. That would be awesome for Jamel Charlo. And it would be an excellent moment. Now, however, I got Canelo whooping his ass within 7 because he's extremely emotional and he is going to have a lapse in judgment against Canelo Alvarez. Jamel is too emotional. I seen a lot of chinks and gaps in his fight with Castano. I didn't like how it looked. And I just think that some of those traits and mannerisms and habits are going to come out against Canelo. Canelo is very poised, very methodical, and he can put subtle pressure on you. Very good at counterpunching, and Mel kind of loops his punches because he's trying to go for the kill here of late. He's kind of sitting down a little bit more on his punches and getting the stoppage. Now, we do know Mel can box. Mel has the ability to box. He really started off more of an out boxer, and then he started sitting down in his punches and started kind of emulating and being on line with his brother and becoming a very, very accomplished boxer puncher. And I think that may have some opportunities available, his style, Jamel, for Canelo to exploit. And I think we see him get stopped in round 8, round 7 or round 8. Now, also, Terence Crawford has to beat Errol Spence Jr. again. Okay? Errol Spence Jr. has allegedly activated the rematch for December sometimes, and there's a lot of enthusiasm about the fight. For those who believe in Errol Spence, they're saying currently that they got excuses that they cannot name. So they're sneak dissing, right? Something went wrong, and they're throwing the conspiracy, throw the stones behind my hands type of bullshit that these niggas out here doing. Man, you know, I really couldn't say that his baby mama, the universe, God told me, or the people in Africa said, you know, because back in slavery, it's all that kind of shit right there, that kind of talk right there. So I saw UFOs back in, but I ain't gonna say nothing because I don't make no excuses. Man, shut up, you lying fuck niggas. You niggas are making excuses. You keep saying it. We know what that means. We know when you keep saying, I'm not making excuses, nigga, we know you're making an excuse. You just ain't gonna speak what the fucking excuse is. So let's stop with the nonsense. And you keep saying, I ain't making no excuses. Nigga, you're not doing me no fucking favors. Nigga, that's your integrity that's on the line. Because we already know that we agreed that nigga ain't no excuses for this fight. We already said that. And then when the Terence Crawford fans were saying, hey man, I'm not going, the fucking car wreck bothers me. Oh man, see, y'all trying to make excuses. Y'all the one making excuses. Nah, man, the nigga just not that desperate. Man, I don't care about the nigga personal life, about drinking and yellow beers and none of that shit ain't gonna affect him on the night. None of it. It ain't got nothing to do with that. Crawford gonna get smashed. Man. All right, man, you talking about the pound for pound best boxer in the world, man. This guy don't really fuck around. This guy really do what he gotta do. Man, I don't know, man. Earl Spence is too strong. How you gonna beat him, y'all? He just gonna break him? What the fuck does that mean? Break him? What the fuck does that mean stylistically? He gonna break him? You niggas are idiots. I ain't gonna make no excuses though. After the fight. Well, now I don't know. I could say some stuff, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Nigga, you're not doing us a favor at fucking all. Nigga, you ain't got no goddamn excuses. Niggas, you ain't got a goddamn leg to stand on. So I don't know who the fuck you niggas think you selling that fuck nigga shit to. But you niggas finna pay a fuck nigga fee for being fuck niggas. We don't give a fuck about none of the shit that you heard in Kel. I don't give a fuck if the nigga had 1 leg, 2 legs. He said that he gonna make him look like Benavidez. That's what he told him. He said, that's how you gonna look. That's how you gonna look. Like Benavidez. He had 1 leg. Okay, and that's how you gonna look. I'm gonna make you do the stanky leg. That's what Crawford told this nigga. I don't understand when 2 niggas tell each other exactly what's going to happen between the 2 of them. You out of it. Ain't no need for you as a fanboy to cap. You don't need to defend shit. Crawford laid this pipe down, pause, bust his head wide open. The nigga Crawford did everything he said he was going to do. What the fuck is y'all talking about? Ain't no excuses. Ain't no goddamn I could say about no rip. Man, the man told him, I do everything better than you. I'm going to stop you. When I stop you, they going to say you stayed in the weight class too long and you was drained. When he came off the car wreck, I remember they was asking Crawford what he thought about it. Crawford like, man, I just kind of wish the nigga the best. You know, I ain't even really, I'm going to just look somewhere else. I ain't even really trying to. Crawford wasn't even interested in the fight. Kind of really after that, nigga had a car wreck. The nigga was just kind of like, oh man, nigga, oh man, he trying to use the car wreck as man didn't want to fight that nigga. Man, hold on. All right. Y'all know how it is, man. People always want to you be sitting here all day. Nobody don't want to fuck with you until they goddamn hear you on the video. They want to come peeking around the corner asking all these kind of questions that they can solve. You know how it go. But anyway, yeah, so back to the lecture at hand. Listen, man. Nobody don't give a fuck. Terence Crawford told you exactly what he gonna do. He delivered an ass whooping from hell on that motherfucker. Like he's supposed to. So obviously we got Canelo that has to get past Mel. Okay? He's going to stop Mel, in my opinion, in fucking 7 or 8. Your boy Crawford got to get past your boy Earl Spence again. He's going to stop his ass in fucking 5. Okay? And when Canelo stopped Mel and when Crawford stops Spence, both are going to be candidates for knockout of the year. Both are going to be candidates for knockout of the year. Now, if you doubt me, that's cool, but I'm closer to right than you fuck niggas. So I think everybody might want to listen to me on this shit with Crawford and Spence as opposed to you goofies. Okay? Nobody don't give a fuck if you rooting for the nigga. We talking about reality. Okay, because the truth be told is that Earl Spence and Sean Porter supposed to be knockout of the years on Crawford's resume. No matter how you slice it, no matter how you put it. If Kenny Porter didn't throw the fucking towel in, Porter would have went to fucking sleep. He already had drool coming out of his mouth from getting his shit beat the fuck up, and he never been stopped, and he would have finished the fight on his back looking at the fucking lights, knockout of the year, because that's a good knockout against a motherfucker who don't get knocked out. Your boy Spence never hit the canvas until he faced Terence Crawford. He was finna be face down, ass up like Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, which also should have been knockout of the year. But I believe that Al Heyman be saving these niggas from putting them on that blacklist, so his fighters won't be having that historical ass whooping attachment to him. Al Heyman is a fire ass motherfucker. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. So now we got the foundation laid, and now that we know that these two guys have fights, and now that we know that they are in talks of fighting each other, this is not to disrespect Earl Spence in the fight in December. This is me. Crawford should not be overlooking him, worried about Canelo. Canelo should not be overlooking Jermell Charlo, worried about Terence Crawford. That's on them. If they do that shit, that's on them. But I'm finna talk about the proposed fight because I already gave a cut and dry position on Mel versus Canelo. I don't need to talk about that. The fight finna get ready to happen. I got stoppage in 7 or 8 for Canelo, candidate for knockout of the year. I got Terence Bud Crawford stopping Spence, knockout of the year in the 5th, unless they preserve these two son of a bitches' career by doing some shit, by throwing in the towel or just having Harvey Doc wave the shit off prematurely or in the corner so it won't be so vicious, and you can preserve Jermell and you can preserve Spence's career after Terence Crawford sacked this nigga and after Canelo sacked that motherfucker. Now, Crawford is signed to Al Heyman, right? For a few fights, okay? Canelo is signed to Al Heyman for a few fights. So there's no loss to Al Heyman to have both of these guys fight. They're winner fighters. They're not the homegrown Thurman, Mayweather, Sean Porter, and Earl Spence. Those are homegrown Al Heyman fighters. Canelo just passing through for now that we know of. Crawford is passing through that we know of. Okay? So with that being said, it is why the fuck wouldn't Al Heyman, listen to me carefully, why wouldn't Al Heyman stage the biggest rematch at 154 with Crawford and Spence? Al Heyman controls all 4 of the belts via Jamel. He has influence on it. I'm sure he's writing something up as a proposal to probably put a vacant belt or 2 on the line for Spence and Crawford. Rightfully so. That's what I like to see from Al Heyman, and I hope it goes through. Okay? I hope it goes through. I would not mind seeing the sanctioning bodies put a fight together, okay, for Zoo and whoever in both belts, maybe IBF and WBO. I said this earlier just to recap. Maybe they put that on the line with Tim Zoo, and maybe we get a Earl Spence in the WBC and the WBA for the vacant title, because ain't nothing at 154. Jamel has already cleaned that shit the fuck out. Fundora has fell on his sword. There's nothing there, technically speaking, except niggas from 147 that's going to come up to the division and make it more exciting. So why would Al Heyman not hedge all his bets? Al Heyman is looking good right now from a business perspective. He got Terence Crawford. He doesn't lose anything if Earl Spence get his ass whooped. He just needs to make sure, Crawford don't whoop his ass so bad to a point of no return, because Al Heyman is probably going to be with Earl Spence for the remainder of his career, so he does have to invest in the man's safety, okay? Now, obviously, if Earl Spence can make it better by just stopping, Crawford, we might have something. Al Heyman's winning regardless, but I believe you get your boy stopped this December to permanently put a nail in the coffin on this. I think a belt or 2 will be on the line. I think Crawford unifies, and I think that he don't become undisputed at 54. I'm not sure if they'll sneak Zoo in and then they'll do the fight in September. They may have him fight Zoo to become undisputed at 154, which is another massive payday for Terence Crawford under Al Heyman. Spence rematch sounds like money. Zoo versus Crawford sounds like money. Okay? Canelo versus Male sounds like money. Canelo versus Big Charlo sounds like money. Or Berlanga or some shit like that in between sounds like money to me. All for Al Heyman. Okay? Then you go ahead and stage probably one of the biggest pay-per-view possibilities in September. If all goes well with Crawford and Canelo, you got to do that before them 2 guys leave you. Why not? Canelo don't been with De La Hoya. You don't been with Eddie Hearn. And Al Heyman got the man in his grasp. Why not use Canelo to go ahead and brand PBC in a righteous way, and you have Bud Crawford? Like, I don't know what you niggas talking about. Why the fuck wouldn't you do that if you Al Heyman? What you do? You just let the fight go? And didn't what's the name do that? Bob Arum do that for Pacquiao and Crawford, and you niggas had a problem with that shit? Oh, yeah, I know it's all kind of caveats and excuses. Yeah. What the fuck ever. But we've seen this happen before, and I don't kind of like that shit. Al Heyman, I like Al Heyman. I trust Al Heyman. He's going to do right by boxing, and if Terence Crawford and Canelo does what they have to do against these guys or not, meaning Al Heyman still win, because that means Jamel and Canelo is going to have a trilogy. That means Crawford and Spence is going to have a trilogy. If they lose in September, this is your boy Canelo. If he loses in 3 weeks, it's going to be a trilogy. And if Crawford loses in December, then it's going to be a trilogy. So no matter how you slice it, Al Heyman is in a good position. And we ain't got to worry about necessarily rushing to a Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight. Now, however, let's get down to if my prediction is correct, and it goes the way I think it's going with the 2 KOs of the year against Spence and against Jamel. But I think they'll give it to Canelo because everybody already seen how Crawford will have to knock this nigga through the ropes this time. But I think they'll give it to Canelo over Jamel if he knocks him out. And if Jamel knock out Canelo, he definitely finna get KO of the year. If Spence, here's another interesting take before I get into the Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez. Now it can flip. Crawford could get stopped and be up for knockout of the year himself, and Canelo can get stopped. And which one of those would be knockout of the years? So if Jamel was to stop Canelo and Spence was to stop Crawford, which one of those fights do you think that which one of those guys you think would get knockout of the year, and vice versa? If Crawford stops Spence again and Canelo stops Jamel, which one of those fights you would think that's KO of the year, or a mixture of the two? If Crawford stops Spence, but Mel stops Canelo, what's your thoughts on that? Or if vice versa, you guys get it. So which one of those you think could be knockout of the year? Because I feel like that's what's going to happen. The pity pat era is pretty much over. Niggas is really stopping shit in this new era of boxing post Floyd Mayweather. It is what it is. Now, let me make this short and sweet. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop the link now so that you guys can gather your thoughts and you can give me your position on Canelo versus Crawford and the four guys we're talking about right here. Now, let me touch on Benavidez before I start cooking on the stylistic approach. So I want to get some people in here that got some sense. They can talk styles. They can break it down, because I also want to get on this rematch and all that kind of shit and how we see the fights and the breakdowns. Now, Benavidez, first of all, Canelo should be fighting Benavidez. I don't know. I don't know what Canelo's doing on that. That's a complete dump. I have no idea why he's not fighting Benavidez, but however, people have been clamoring for Jamel to get his shot at Canelo. People has been saying that he don't fight African-American people, black fighters, which is not true. And people been wanting to see Boo Boo Andrade. Everybody been wanting to see both Charlos get their shot at Canelo Alvarez, and now we are here. So I'm not mad at the Jamel fight because it's what you guys want to see, but then you don't want to see it. So real quick, let me bring my boy Shelton Moore in here. What's going on, Shelton Moore? What's up, boy?
What's up with you, Zone? How you doing, brother?
Chilling, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
About to cook on these proposed fights and these fights that's actually signed, the big four. Right. Yep, the big four. So just for the record, while I'm speaking, you jump in when you're ready. So like I was saying, I believe that Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez. I believe that he's going to be faster. I believe he's going to be faster, and I mean hand speed and foot speed, lateral movement. I think that Terence Crawford has all the advantages over Canelo Alvarez, with the exception of fighting in the inside. I think Canelo is a vicious body puncher. I think he's way stronger than Earl Spence. But however, Terence Crawford is extremely strong, as we all see now. But I don't know how that head-to-head, horn-to-horn is going to lock up Canelo. No.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. That's the problem for Mel and Bud. You have to make it through them first 5-6 rounds unscathed.
Yeah,
4 fights.
Okay, yeah, cut out right quick. More Shelton. What you say?
No, I said that's what he's done in his last 4 fights. He's gassed out, so we know he does.
Yeah, he
either one of them. They got to make it through them first 6 rounds without getting hurt and busted up.
Hey, AC, Hold on for a second. AC, I'm muting you because I think you got two things open. I don't know if you're on a laptop and you got the video and StreamYard open, but it's giving us a feed.
Let me go out and come back.
No, you're good. No, it's AC.
Okay.
It's AC.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Let me see. AC.
Yeah, I was mute.
Say what?
I said I thought I had my own joint muted. My bad.
Oh yeah. I know how sometimes you pull up the tabs and the StreamYard open with the YouTube and you got the volume up. I'm with you. That shit echoes. But anyway, my initial thoughts, man, on this Terence Crawford situation is, I'm being honest with you, man. I think he beat Canelo Alvarez. I'm talking about right now, right here today. I really believe that. Do anybody got any opposing thoughts or similar thoughts to that?
No, I believe you can beat him, but he got to stay away from the power until, these first 5-6 rounds. Because in the first 5-6 rounds, I love Bud. Bud has done amazing things, but Bud ain't never been hit as hard as Canelo gonna hit him. Canelo hits harder than anybody he's ever faced, and that's just a fact. So if you can make it to the first 6 rounds unscathed, you got it, because we know that Canelo Alvarez gasses out. You've seen that in his last 4 fights. We know that. That's a fact. So you make it through the first 6 rounds, you got him, because he can't box with Bud. He don't have the skills to box with Bud.
I agree. Go ahead.
I'm gonna just say this, just to give a little pushback on Bud ain't never been hit that hard. He spars with Stone Cold, with Soul Cold Nelson, and he also puts in some rings, a couple of rounds with damn, why am I brain farting on my man name? But he's from the MMA and he was a light heavy. So Bud been cracked by some dudes that can get it in. And from talking with Young Sugar J, that's actually in B&B boxing, a up and coming heavyweight, he's been witness and privy to see those fights. Those sparring sessions. So Bud being cracked by some hard hitters, and So Cold is definitely a hard hitter. So with that being said, I believe, just like Bud said with Errol, if he hit me and it don't make me respect him or tighten up or whatever, it's gonna be a long night for him. So at the end of the day, I just think Bud has a superior boxing, superior footwork, superior punch placement, and we've seen a Bud that had nothing going on, deadlift 3 and some change or 4 and some change, and take down a collegiate wrestler. So power, I'm not concerned with that. I'm not a fan of Canelo Alvarez, although I have him winning this fight coming up with Jamel. But by no means am I a fan of this new Canelo since he took since he's been ducking for major fights, and he's just not. He's all about the bag right now, the spectacle, and if there's nothing wrong with that when you reach a certain level in your career, but you're not even number one pound for pound to even be running around acting like that. So at the end of the day, if they get in the ring, my money's gonna be on Bud, and that's just the way I see it. He's the superior athlete and fighter. So I'm going with what I've already seen, and from being on other channels that are actually in that gym in B&B Academy with Bud. It's a lot to be said.
So we all kind of give Crawford a chance. And I think that what's going to be key is random blood and urine test. If, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm telling you, I'm going far. If Canelo is tested, and that's not an option or a mistake that can be made with tainted tacos or tainted meat, and he's reaped the benefits of whatever that comes with against Terence Crawford. if Canelo Alvarez system is clean, which you can see on the back end of some fights, he kind of started to get exhausted. Yeah, but let's just make sure if that boy comes in clean and Crawford comes in clean, man, Crawford will stop Canelo as long as Canelo don't have some shady shit. Because let's be honest, Canelo's the man. We all respect Canelo, but Canelo has some suspect favor in some regards. So the only one I'm concerned about is making sure that Canelo is completely clean. I'm not trying to imply anything about him. I just want to make sure. And if he's completely clean at 168 and Bud coming there, Bud is going to whoop this guy to pieces. As long as there's if there's steroid testing, drug testing, PED testing, I got Bud whooping them without a shadow of a doubt.
No, I agree 100% with that. And the crazy shit is, didn't the WBC make an adjustment on what they will allow in Canelo's blood or whatever back in the day? I remember seeing something like that. I don't want to speak on it too clearly without.
They raised the level. They raised the level of computer raw that's allowed by the WBC. They did that.
Yeah, so basically, it's shit like that's the only thing that concerns me in the fight, and I'm with you 100% on this Zone 6. If they both come in clean, hey, I'm going with Bud. I just believe he's that special talent of this generation that can pull shit like that off.
I'm riding with Bud until somebody beats him.
That's a good one.
And somebody got to show me they can beat him, because I haven't seen anybody that can show me they can beat him. Show me you can beat him, and then I'll believe it. But other than that, I got Bud beating everybody.
And Sheldon, I don't think that if Canelo comes in clean and is verified and is proven, I don't think we see the same Canelo that people think we've seen in the past. Canelo is not trustworthy. I'm not finna put anything on him, but he's definitely untrustworthy. As you stated, they raised the level for PEDs before. He's been found with tainted meat. And he will do anything to get an edge. We know this. He's still been angry about the Floyd Mayweather loss because he volunteered to go down to 152, and he's been A-siding the fuck out of everybody ever since. But if everything's on the up and up, he ain't beating Bud. I got him getting. If he's clean, I think he gets stopped late. To be honest with
you. Yeah,
I think he gets beat up. I don't really know about stop because I ain't seen the dude wobble since 2010. So it's gonna be hard to wobble that little dude. Bivol couldn't do it. None of them other dudes could do it. You know what I'm saying? So he's a tough son of a bitch. But I don't think he can box with Bud in a 12-round fight. Bud might stop him. You know, the ref might jump in because of the accumulation of punches, but I don't see nobody stopping the dude. The dude's tough, man. Not from 168 on down. I don't see nobody stopping. But I don't think he can beat Bud. I don't think he can. Shit, I don't know if he can beat. If Mel is right, I don't know if he can box with Mel because he's short. His arms are short, and his head movement is lacking nowadays. His foot movement is lacking. If Mel don't get knocked out, Mel can outwork him and outbox him.
Yeah. See, but Bud has a strange tendency, and let's see if we're going to continue the streak. He have a strange tendency of showing you some shit about some fighters that make you question the fighter, and then we come up with all these reasons on why that fighter ain't the fighter we thought he was. So Bud has a strange way of showing you some new shit about a fighter. And I'm going to keep rolling with that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm just shocked that everybody's surprised that all these excuses came out because I knew this was going to happen 3 years ago. As soon as Bud goes in here and stops this dude, because as you know, I've been predicting the stoppage for 3 years on YouTube. When Bud goes in here and stops this dude, they're going to make up all kinds of excuses about him being weight drained, stayed in the division too long, he wasn't right, something, this, that, and the other. I'm not surprised because I knew it was coming.
Those are valid excuses. But, I mean, here's my thing. I would never call somebody a drug cheat until they're caught. Even if everybody in the world believes somebody's cheating, I will not call them a drug cheat until they're actually caught. But what I can say is this. We all know Canelo was caught on clenbuterol, and who knows what else he's put into his body. We don't know. We just know clen because that's what he got popped on, which is one of the hardest things to get popped on because it's in and out of your system so quickly. It's surprising he actually got caught on it. But if you're going to bring up PEDs and you're going to allude to the fact that Canelo may come in juicing, then you cannot overlook the fact that Victor Conte, who's oversnacked, that Bud's been with forever, who went to jail for supplying athletes from all types of sports PEDs. He admitted that he had a chemist create him a steroid, an antibiotic steroid that was undetectable by testing. So, like, you've got one of the biggest, most notorious known PD cheaters in your camp. So if you're going to allude to one dude cheating, then that brings up a whole can of worms. So it's one of them things where either they're both clean or they both have suspicions on them. And I would like to go with they're both going to be clean for the fight. Test them both, of course. Test them both, of course. But again, I have to say one more time. When you have a guy in your camp who went to jail for supplying multiple athletes from multiple sports, PEDs, and he admitted that he had a PED, an anabolic steroid created that is undetectable to all these tests, there's a question, an eyebrow to be raised.
Bro, I guess you didn't hear Victor Conte when he was on his last interview when he spoke about that whole situation, and he spoke about who are the biggest people and how these promoters manipulate the drug usage. And he said right then and there, PBC and DAZN are the biggest perpetrators of hiding information from the commission as far as PEDs. But let's also call out some of the other fighters. That Devin Haney, Jaron Ennis, who else? Clarissa Shields. They all fuck with Victor Conte. So I don't know where this weird ass shit be coming from. I mean, you guys got to stop watching those fuck boys over there and then come regurgitate that shit on a channel where people do actually know.
There's no regurgitation. No. Hold on. Pause. There's no regurgitation. It is a fact that Victor Conte went to jail for 4 months. It is a fact that he got off on parole because he decided to work with WADA and try to help the sports industry clean up PEDs. It is a fact that he was on record saying that he created an anabolic steroid.
That's not a fact. That's a lie. You're lying right now.
You can literally go listen to his quotes. What are you talking about? It's a lie.
I heard the man talk from his own mouth, so I don't give a fuck what you say because I know the source of where you're getting. I know the source of
jail. He went to jail for fucking 4 months. What are you talking about?
Well, here's my question before y'all keep going back and forth. Here's my question to you, Tony. Is that not on boxing? I said this before. If Victor Conte is being allowed to participate in the sport of boxing and everybody has the same information that you have, is that not on boxing to get him out?
So
that's on boxing.
Again, I will answer like I said
before. If boxing says the people in power in boxing say they want a clean sport, if that's what they say, then why are they not enacting the protocol such as getting rid of Victor Conte to make sure it's a clean sport?
Again, I will restate what I said before. If you're going to insinuate that one guy is going to be cheating, Canelo, then you have to look at the whole circumstance of Terence Crawford. I am going to say until either one of them guys pop hot, Canelo again, but for the first time, I am going to assume as long as they're being tested that they're both coming in clean. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because both of them, hold on. Because let me
the problem is Canelo pop top. So once you pop hot, now we got to question everything that you've done.
Right. He popped hot. But at the same time, like you just said, is it not boxing's fault for not getting the guy out the sport? I agree. I don't think this dude should be allowed any sport because he went to jail for being a supplier. He also has been on record stating that he was giving Barry Bonds PEDs, which Barry Bonds has denied. So where AC's getting that he didn't supply people PEDs, I have no fucking idea because these are his words, not mine.
So like I said before, when I guess you haven't listened to his latest interview where he spoke about that. He said he never gave anyone anything. He emphatically said that, and he said when he was at his indictment deposition, they questioned him about that, and that's not what he went to jail for. But when you talk about he made a PED substance, he made an energy drink. That's two different things. So at the end of the day, Snack,
do this for me.
Snack, let me finish, please. Snack, right now, what they do, they're a supplement company. Just like you have the Muscle Builder supplement company, you have that. So like I said, I mentioned several other fighters who are on the Snack program and who have been working with Snack for a minute, and some people that recently signed to Snack. So with that being said, when you have a person like that and he's working with Vada and WADA and all of that to do a clean boxing program, then it is crazy to say that this guy over here, we're gonna throw this out there because he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't put any sort of illegal substance in his body. All of a fucking sudden is gonna put a PED substance in his body. Get the fuck out of here with that stupid shit. I mean, listen, man, come on. Common sense has to prevail some fucking place. And Canelo Alvarez was suspended for PED usage. Period.
Okay. So all you have to do, Shelton, if you're in front of your computer, please do this for me. Please do these 2 Google searches because I'm on my phone and I can't do it. Zone, if you're there in the background, you can share a screen and show this shit. So
no,
this is very simple.
I'm not doing anything for you. You gotta come with your own stuff. You like to do that.
I can't share screen. I can't share screen.
Listen,
this isn't my channel.
Then I don't give a damn. Go ahead, figure it out. All right.
You don't give a damn, but you can pull up the information to show it. If we were on my fucking channel, I could do it. I can't share screen because this isn't my fucking screen. But if you want to talk to me that fucking way and have some type of coming at me sideways, which is crazy, when all I asked was, could you do something?
I'm saying I'm not.
I don't fucking understand.
Listen, dude,
but
I'm
it's very
saying
simple. It's very simple. Anybody listening?
Tony, look, Tony, you don't get to talk. We know. Look, we got all night. I ain't finna. You don't rush. Slow down. You gonna get your time. We gonna let you cook. What I'm telling you is, I ain't doing this shit. You asked for something, and I said fucking no. That's what the fuck that means, because I'm a grown man and you can't do shit about it. I said no. How about that? And you just accept it, my nigga. Now, there you go. Keep talking.
We're both grown men, and you can't do shit about me asking, so I don't understand the fucking attitude. Where this shit went sideways is your attitude, when there's no fucking attitude. Where's this fucking animosity coming from? That's what I'm trying to
animosity, man.
You coming at me sideways right now when all I asked was, could you do something? You can say no. I didn't tell you you had to.
It's not that you asked for it.
You trying to act like I told you you had to do it when I never said that. I said no. And you have an attitude.
Listen,
I'm trying to figure out where this attitude is coming from. Because I didn't have an attitude towards you.
I said, first of all, I don't got a fucking attitude. Relax.
Obviously, you do.
Okay, whatever. All right, whatever. That's semantics. I said the answer is no. Continue to talk. I'm not doing it. That's all I said. So you can continue to build your argument around me saying no. I'm not finna pull it up. That's what.
Okay, whatever. We'll move on. It's very simple. Anybody listening who can use Google at the moment, Google Barry Bonds, Victor Conte, and what he said about Barry Bonds out his fucking mouth. Google right now, Victor Conte, chemist, an undetectable anabolic steroid, and see what he said out of his fucking mouth.
We know that's the truth, bro. We all know that. We all heard the statement. We were watching.
That anybody can look up. Where AC's believing that Victor Conte, we're not saying Terence Crawford. I never said Terence Crawford did anything. That's where you get in your fucking feelings and your panties are getting tight, AC. What I said was what Victor Conte did. What he
Time out, bro. Time out. I'm not in my feelings and I don't wear panties. I don't wear panties and I'm not in my feelings. So let's keep it boxing, bro.
Well, obviously you are, because you're trying to dispute facts that everybody knows and say people are lying by stating
We
facts that
all
have
watched
happened
the
in the past.
special, Tony. Tony, we all watched the special. We know what the man said. We was watching Barry Bonds the whole song. We know what the man said. So as long as you know what you saying is backed by facts, nobody has to look it up. You already know it. I already know it.
Right, you
Zone
know
know
it
it.
too, but the thing is, AC doesn't know it, and he's trying to act like what I'm
He
saying is a
doesn't
lie,
care
which
to
is
know
just
it. We can
fallacious.
move on. He doesn't care to know it, and we can move on. He doesn't care to know it, and we can move
But
on.
Shelton, I will say I agree with you 1,010%. Victor Conte should be kicked the fuck out of the sport, and
Exactly. You want a clean
any
boxing program?
business.
Get him out of there.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
agree. In any business that he has his hands in, anything he produces should be illegal to all athletes from all sports, not just boxing, baseball, whatever. I understand people need to make their livelihoods, but when you're a known fucking cheap supplier, you have no business in sports, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
No, and I agree. The thing is, because it's not that it's not the fact that he's doing it or he's not doing it. The implication is enough. So if you're trying to say you want a clean program, you can't even imply that something dirty is going on. This guy is known to be dirty. The facts are there. So if you want a clean boxing program, I don't see how you can have this guy involved in your sport. I just don't see it.
Okay, so let me reiterate my position, and I'm gonna let Taco come in. And y'all got it. What I'm telling you is, I got Crawford whooping Canelo Alvarez ass. As long as Crawford makes sure that everything's on the up and up. I'm not getting to and making sure everything on the up and up just because of shits and giggles. I'm saying for both of them, it would apply. So there's no excuses on either end if Crawford goes in here and render this guy unconscious. I don't want Canelo to be having drugs in his system because he has a history of it. Is that an indictment on him or Crawford? No. I just want to make sure that Crawford tests this motherfucker so that he can get a fair shake and whoop his ass at 68. Obviously, if Canelo is going to be asked to do that, then Crawford should be doing that. I don't have no worries about Crawford doing that. That's why I'm talking about Canelo. If Canelo comes in clean and both Crawford comes in clean, I believe that Crawford is going to whoop Canelo's ass. He just needs to trust but verify that because Canelo has history. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And here's the thing about it, Zone, that you have to understand. Some of these fighters may have people like, and I'm not saying Victor Conte is still doing this. I cannot prove it. I'm just saying he had a history of it. I'm just saying hypothetically, if this was to happen, you have to understand. If fighters are taking his substances, they may believe they're 100% clean, and this motherfucker may be putting shit in their shit that cannot be detected, and the fighters would never know. They think they're doing everything straight down the line. They've never done anything. Most people think anabolic steroids or PEDs or injections. That's a lie. They can come in liquid form, in pill form. Pill, you can dilute to where you don't even know it's in substances. So what I'm saying is, sometimes fighters do this shit to get an edge, but there's other times whenever fighters take shit that they don't even know they're fucking taking because somebody in their camp is giving it to them and they think it's clean.
Well, according to Victor Conte, in his last interview, where he spoke about everything, he said this specifically. He said the newest form of doping is blood doping. So all the steroid shit, if you want to go clean and you don't want someone to find out, it's blood doping.
I'm literally, this is what my fucking profession is, and blood doping has nothing to do with PEDs, AC. What blood doping is...
I just fucking said that.
See, AC, this is literally my...
Bro, stop trying to just prove me wrong, just to prove me wrong and fucking listen.
I'm trying to explain to you what...
You can't explain nothing to me because you're too fucking stupid. So stop.
When you can't explain nothing to somebody, that person is unwilling to learn anything. And that's a fucking human flaw. If you had a profession...
I'm not trying to learn nothing from a dumbass. A dumbass can't teach me nothing. It's just that simple, bro. A dumbass can't teach me nothing.
You're so dumb. You're so dumb. Because if you knew something I didn't know and it was your profession, listen. I'll give you a prime example of this, AC. Let me give you a prime example.
Bro, leave my name out your mouth. Just leave my name out your mouth and talk about whatever you're going to talk about.
So check this shit out. You could ask Zone. I have been on record for I don't know how long, for damn near a year, saying I believe that Usyk ducked Tyson Fury. I'm one of the only people. However, I had Taze Jones come on my channel, who is in Deontay Wilder's camp, and he broke down shit that I did not fucking know. And I had to concede because this guy is behind the scenes. I'm getting third source newspaper articles where I'm formulating my own opinion. But when Tay Jones told me everything he knew from behind the scenes, I had to shut the fuck up and listen because that's his profession. That's what he's in. So now I have to concede the point that no, all along Tyson Fury has been the one ducking Usyk based off of new information. If somebody is in that field, it would be wise of you to sit back and listen to that person because maybe they could explain something that you don't truly understand. There's nothing wrong with you. Again, whatever your profession is, if we were talking about that and you brought up, I brought up something and you was like, Tony, you're wrong. I do this for a living. I would shut the fuck up and listen and get educated. I do this shit for a living. What blood doping is, and you can Google this shit, is where you take blood out. You take your blood out. You freeze it. When you freeze your blood in a freezer, your blood oxygenates. So it has more oxygen in it, which means that the red blood cells inside of your blood bag fills up with oxygen. So then you re-inject it. What that does is it gives you more stamina because now you have more oxygen running through your blood. So now you have more fuel, more energy. That's what it's for. That is what blood dumping is. It's not a PED. It's taking your blood and putting it back in your body.
Right. So okay, as it pertains to the Terence Crawford fight, the proposed fight, what are your thoughts on that, Tony? Everybody else get in position, and then we're going to go back to Crawford versus Earl Spence and the activation of the rematch and what he could possibly do different if you've even changed your prediction. So yeah, we got the blood doping. That's why we want Canelo ass tested, period. So
I agree. Test the fuck out of him.
That's right. But before we even get to that, what is your thoughts on the proposed fight if Crawford was to fight Canelo and everybody's clean? What do you think happens in your opinion?
I think I don't see Bud going up to 168 and being successful against Canelo. I think Canelo grinds him down. I know people are saying that, like, and I've said this before, that Canelo around like now, I would say before around the 10th round, he looked to slow down a lot, but now it's looking like around the 8th round, he's starting to slow down a lot. So either he's battle worn, you could call it age, even though Crawford's older, Canelo's been through a lot more fights, but he looks to be tiring down the stretch. However, he's tiring against guys who are as big as him, if not bigger than him in the ring. So I don't think he's going to have the same fatigue against a guy who's going to be physically smaller. Now, maybe Crawford will be stronger, but he's going to be physically smaller than what Canelo will be walking into the ring. I just think Canelo is going to be too big, especially for Crawford's first fight. Now, if you let him get acclimated, I agree. I think he could beat the shit out of Canelo. If you give him a fight or two to adjust to the weight, but going up to 168, so you're skipping 154, you're skipping 160, and you're going up, what, from 147 to 168?
No, he's not.
Pounds? Excuse me.
That's not true.
I don't see it.
That's not true. He's fighting EJ at 54. He's fighting EJ at 54, so it'll be two weight divisions. And you said something, about something that you said something about him using energy. Actually, using your mental and moving at the same time could be a sort of fatigue too. Mental fatigue and Crawford movement and trickiness, because he got to watch out for Crawford's counter punching, and he got to watch out because Crawford is not going to sit in front of him like that. So you got to watch out for Crawford movement. And when he do sit there, he gonna have to watch for the counters again. Crawford is tricky. Crawford said traps, so he's gonna have to work off of that. So using mental stress plus the movement will cause him to fatigue too.
I agree, Taco, that Bud is a very good counterpuncher, but here's the thing about it. So is Canelo. Canelo is a bona fide counterpuncher. That's what he does. And he's counterpunching and beating guys much taller than him, much bigger than him, due to that counterpunching, due to that timing. All the guys
same as Crawford.
All the guys that Crawford are fighting are, well, Canelo's actually the same height.
Huh? Then come on now.
Hold on.
Sean Porter started off at 54. Spence started off, I think, at a weight class higher.
At
What you
160,
mean?
Spence started off at
Will you let me
160.
finish?
Bud, how long were people saying Bud was too small? Now he too big? Come on, man. Hey,
No,
and then look.
Listen to me, Taco. There is a difference in size difference between what Bud is fighting. The difference, we're talking about 1 or 2 inches. We're talking about on the tall side, like Spence is 5'10", Crawford's 5'8". Canelo is fighting guys 6'2" plus. Like there's a completely different world that you got to understand that Canelo's used to seeing. Like it's not the same.
But to me, it's worse because now he's fighting a tricky fighter. Yeah, you can fight a tall fighter and a big fighter, but that tall fighter and that big fighter, is that skilled? Is they that good? Do they got the goods? Most of them haven't. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you got to look at, they talk about Canelo top competition. We seen when he go up against a young dog, a young lion, what happened in Bibble. And Bibble, we know that.
Yeah, he went up another weight class to his 5th weight class to fight Bivol. Like this is his 5th weight.
So you got
hold on. Listen, Taco.
I'm trying to make sure. Hold on, Taco muted. He still got the floor. I'm just trying to make sure we get your prediction. You said you got Canelo, right? Beating Crawford.
Yeah, I think Canelo would just grind him down. I think it would just be like I said, if you give Crawford 1 to 2 fights at 168 and then put him in there with Canelo, I would favor Crawford once he's acclimated. But for first fight there, I just think Canelo's too big, going to be too much. He's going to grind him down.
Okay. Taco, you back clear? I know he had some.
Yeah. See, the thing is, bro, like, I'm getting tired of this disrespect of Crawford. You feel me? I'm saying that he get it just because he beat the shit out of EJ. Now people want to talk about Vinter Conte and snacking all this extra shit. He looked different. His performance looked different. But you know what? The reason why his performance looked different to some people is because y'all wasn't really watching Crawford. I was watching Crawford come up. A lot of the stuff he was doing, I didn't see Crawford do. It's just because you guys wasn't watching Crawford and y'all assumed that EJ was this big bad wolf like y'all were trying to portray, doesn't mean that he was taking performance enhancers because he looked so damn good and EJ couldn't do nothing. Bruh, just like Zone was telling y'all, we told y'all about all this shit before, bro. We told y'all about Bud counterpunching. We told y'all about Bud is really actually stronger than Earl. We said that. We told y'all about the accident. We was like, man, wait a minute, y'all ain't worried about Spence being in an accident? Nah, we ain't worried about that. Well, what he gonna do? He gonna walk him down. He gonna run through him. He gonna do this and that and the other. And we was telling y'all, wait a minute, Bud is just not gonna sit right there. Bud playing mental warfare. He gonna set those traps for him. He gonna hit him with punches he don't see coming. Earl gonna walk through him. Then when he get his ass beat, and we tell y'all that EJ is basic and that his style is simple, but no, he got way more fundamentals. His defense and his jab, his endurance, all this extra. We told y'all, wait a minute, he be out there drinking, he be out there overweight. Nah. Then in the warm-ups, wait a minute, in the media workout, right? Oh, he looked good. Oh, look what he doing to the heavy bag. He putting dents in the heavy bag. Look at the power. Oh my, look how he hit the mitts. Oh my, wait a minute. He got hit with a counter by Derrick James. He got hit in the counter. Oh, that wasn't nothing. That wasn't nothing. Oh, what about the weigh-in? Man, he looked good. Man. That's the best weight. That's the best looking Earl I done seen on the scale. That's the best looking Earl I done seen. It look like he rehydrated good.
And then Taco falls off.
Hey, well, he
you know what the problem is, though? The problem is
he's right, though.
No. I get what he's saying, but at the same time, that's not applicable to me because I didn't say none of that shit about Terence. Like,
no.
Hold on. I picked Earl Spence Jr. to win the fight, but I said it was a 50-50 from the beginning, and you could ask UGC Flame Black. I had Terence Crawford beating Spence all the way up until the Ugas fight, and the Ugas fight is what tilted me over. But what's even funnier about this is on BFTV's channel, I don't care how you feel about him. Some people like him, some don't. On his channel, he had some title like, how could Terence Crawford beat Earl Spence Jr.? How could he do it? And I went through exactly how he could beat Earl Spence, and lo and behold, he did exactly how I said he could do it. So where Taco's acting like people don't know that Bud could do this or that doesn't apply to me because I literally gave the fucking blueprint that he used in reality a day or two before the fucking fight. and he beat him. The difference was I didn't think he would be able to do what I said he could do to Spence, and I was wrong. Anybody can be wrong. We all get it wrong. But to act like I don't know how good Bud is just ridiculous.
Hey, I'm going to say this, man. People said Bud wasn't acclimated to 147, moving up from 140. Jeff Horn was too big. If he get past Jeff Horn, blase, spleezy, splaze, splat, all this other stupid shit. He goes up there and he manhandles Jeff Horn to get that first belt. Now they're saying X, Y, and Z when it came to Sean Porter. We need to see Bud do whatever he did to Sean Porter. He could have beat Sean Porter if you watch that fight closely. He could have beat Sean Porter from the third round on. He carried Sean Porter the same way he carried Errol Spence. So at the end of the day, where all of this weird ass shit again keeps coming from, because don't nobody talk about Victor Conte in relation to Clarissa Shields. They don't talk about Victor Conte in relation to fucking Dev Haney. They don't talk about Victor Conte in relation to any other boxer, but all of a sudden now Terence Bud Crawford. That's my issue, because where these guys are out here selectively choosing who they're gonna relate Victor Conte to without relating him to the other two undisputed fighters that he fucks with, that don't have the power of Bud. You feel what I'm saying? That Clarissa Shields, when was the last time she got a knockout? When was the last time Dev Haney got a stoppage? So at the end of the day, all of this PED and trying to put Bud in the same circle as I'm going to a company, and this company is gonna supply me with their supplement, just like he had the prime gold chain on, diamond chain on, and everything at the end of the fight. Just like Devin Haney wears OnlyFans on the back of his trunks. This is money. These are sponsorships. Whether you fuck with the supplement or not, that really doesn't matter. It matters that the fact these guys are paying you, and that's from the business side of it. So where all of this weird ass shit be coming from, I really don't give a fuck about that. I give a fuck about knowing this as an absolute fact. When companies get hacked into, a lot of times they don't lock the hacker up. They bring the hacker in on board to show them how to tighten up the security. So that's just a fact. Number two, Bud going up to 168 and fighting Canelo, if that should happen, that's a great fight. At the end of the day, I'm hoping Canelo comes in clean. I'm not worried about Bud coming in clean or having any weird ass relationship where guys are trying to come out their face and say with Victor Conte, because this is fact. Bud doesn't drink or smoke. So why would he put another fucked up substance in his body? That's where I'm talking about common sense. So to mention those two things in the same paragraph, Terence Bud Crawford and Victor Conte dealing with PEDs, is completely irrelevant. It's irrelevant to the actual facts.
I think to try to equivalate by PEDs, I'm going to assume that you mean steroids, which is one of many PEDs, because PEDs is anything that enhances your performance. But most people, when they say PEDs, they refer to steroids, anabolic steroids. Now, I find it an ignorance of medicine if you believe a steroid is on the same level as you smoking or you drinking, because if not abused, a steroid improves your body. It makes you better when you're old.
So does smoking fucking dope. So does smoking angel dust. You ever have a fight, street fight with a nigga on angel dust? Bro, you can knock that nigga 100 ways to Thursday.
Smoke. If you really want to get into how the chemical compounds of PCP, angel dust, etc., destroys your fucking body, we can do it. What I'm telling you.
But so does antibiotic steroids, bro.
What I am telling you from a medical prescribed standpoint, let's just take the most commonly known steroid by the average Joe, testosterone. When you reach around, I don't know, it varies in males, but in between the age of 40 to 55, your test levels normally hit the fucking tank. When your free floating test levels get around 250 or lower, you can be prescribed testosterone. If you
What the fuck does that have to do with Terence Bud Crawford not drinking or smoking or putting any sort of fucked up substance in his body?
While I'm trying to get to the point. So if you're in between this age and you get prescribed testosterone, okay? Now there's 3 different types. You have oil and water-based, but we're not going to get into all the nitty-gritties of the woodwork. Here's the fact of the matter. If you're a 40-year-old man and you start taking tests, you actually de-age. Your skin looks more youthful. Your lipids go up. So everything that you do, I'm trying to do this in layman terms. Your body is like a well-oiled machine, okay? You become younger. Physically, you're better, you're stronger, you feel better, you sleep better. Everything improves. So you're talking about something that makes you better versus 2 substances that are poison to your body.
Smoking weed is not poison to your body, bro. If you're talking medical, shut the fuck up, because smoking weed does not do anything bad to your body. Stop that.
Abuse testosterone. If you abuse steroids, yes, it can give you cardiac arrest. Why? Because it does 2 things to your heart. One, your heart is a muscle. So it makes it bigger, it makes it pump harder. So what can end up happening is your arteries explode due to your blood pressure being too high. The other thing it does is it cuts down your good cholesterol inside of your arteries and your veins. So that can also cause cardiac arrest. But that's when you abuse it. When you take it like you're supposed to in a prescription, it makes you better. It improves your body. That is
You're never supposed to actually take anything. If your body, if you're working out, you're eating right, you're talking to a fucking chef. That's what the AC means, air softer and chef. You can go to my page and see the level of cooking. I'll give you my government name so you can read about me. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to tell you is if you eat right, and that comes through knowing your nutrition, knowing your weight. You feel what I'm saying? If you're eating right and you're working out right, if you're eating right and you're working out right, then there is no need for you to take testosterone because the body will automatically reproduce its own testosterone. And as you age, the body will stop producing, the levels of testosterone will slow down. But as long as you keep working out and eating properly, by sometimes going on a fast or taking on a pesca vegan diet and or vegan diet, you can replenish that which is missing from the body. Now, I'm not trying to get in this shit and go through a biology thing with you because I don't think you're there yet. You may think you're there, but you're not there. So at the end of the day, stop trying to be the smartest guy on the panel and just enjoy the conversation.
Okay, so here's the problem with what you're saying. I actually work in the medical field, okay? That's actually my profession. I don't cook in the kitchen. I actually work. So let me give you something that can come with age or it can come when you're born through genetics.
What do you do in the medical profession? What do you do in the medical profession? I'm asking you a question. What do you do? You say you work in it. You could do medical billing. You could be a phlebotomist. Just because you work in it doesn't mean you're.
I'm quiet when you talk, but when I talk, you're terrified. I'm quiet.
I'm terrified. Terrified of who? Of what? Of who and of what?
Where I'm going to call bullshit.
Stop that.
One simple syndrome. The thyroid gland, okay? There's 2 different types of deficiencies you can have with your thyroid. I don't give a fuck how good you eat. Once you start to suffer from thyroid deficiencies, it doesn't matter what you eat. Now you have to go medically to get it back. What can happen to this? You get obese. You might eat a little bit of food, but your metabolism is out of whack. You cannot synthesize food through your lipids. So therefore, you're fucked.
You're talking about as someone who got thyroid fucking disease like that shit is normal. Shut the fuck up, you fucking idiot. Shut the fuck up, man. Enough of you right now, bro. You're not making any sense.
Talking about this is my fucking profession.
And you're a fucking idiot. I would never want to go to the hospital you went because a motherfucker would die fucking with your stupid ass.
That's what you're doing. No, you're sounding really dumb, and anybody with a medical degree can hear it. There has never been one person in the history of man ever.
You're talking about thyroid disease, you fucking idiot. So shut it the fuck down.
Man, well, how y'all go on?
Check it out.
Food will not heal you.
Listen, this is what we do. Hold on for a second, Tony. Y'all got it. Listen. We don't want to go too far on the PD steroids and Tony.
Yeah, this motherfucker's way too.
Hold on, AC. You are a certified chef, and that does play a role in working out. And Tony is certified in the medical field, so you both guys are credible. But listen, let's bring it back to the whole topic of conversation, which is the Crawford versus Canelo and Terence Crawford versus Spence in the rematch. Tony, I know last time you picked, and you can close off on the steroid thing. AC, just let him close out. Let him give his medical opinion because he be saying some good shit. But Tony, give us what you think about the second fight when you close on the steroid thing about Earl Spence and Terence Crawford December.
Yeah, so I'll close out on this. I will come to common ground with AC. I will give him common ground at this. Everybody knows food diet, okay? What you eat, what you intake can improve your health or it can degrade it. That is known. That is not into question. But food diet does not reverse aging. Once you get to the point where your body stops producing, and it will happen, it doesn't matter if it happens earlier or later in your life. Once it happens, there's no amount of food or any type of food that will reverse that. There are medicines that can. That is the difference. Now, as far as the fight at 154 goes, look, I'm going to say it like this. There's no excuse in the world that anybody can say, somebody chopping, beating it on some meat, tenderizing it, what's going on? Anyways, to me, I saw what I need to see in the first fight. I highly doubt it goes any different. Terence Crawford, no, it doesn't matter what excuse people use. The only valid excuse I could see anybody saying is maybe Earl Spence had some ring rust because he was out of the ring for so long. However, he was so completely outmatched that even though he'll be going into the rematch active, and even though at 154 he's cutting less weight, I don't think it makes a difference. It may be more competitive. I think the fight is a lot more competitive the second time around, but I think the end result is still the same. More than likely, Crawford's just going to stop him again because he just outclassed him. When you're that outclassed, it doesn't matter. Like he's just going to outclass him.
Yo, you guys hear me? What up, Zone? What up, everybody?
Yeah, you got the flow. Go ahead.
What's happening?
Yeah. Before we segue all the way into the 154 rematch, I just wanted to ask, primarily OG Tony, how stylistically, all the power, all the PD crap, all that stuff aside, how stylistically do you see Canelo beating Crawford? And do you see that if that's the case?
The biggest advantage that Crawford has over Canelo is his reach. He's got extremely long arms to be 5'8". But Canelo, he's the same height as Crawford. However, the problem is when you start looking at people like Callum Smith, all these guys he's fought at 168, even Bevel, the reach that Canelo has, he's seen before. Maybe not on such a short fighter, but he's used to interacting with the very long reach. Crawford is kind of like Mayweather, whereas damn near every fighter he's fought, he's outreached. So he's accustomed to being the longer guy. Canelo has been damn near outreached by every single fighter since he's been at 160. So I think that's Crawford's greatest advantage. Yes, he moves good on his feet, but at the same time, he doesn't move like Lara. He doesn't move like Mayweather, who schooled the fuck out of him. He doesn't move like that. He's more of a pocket mover. He gets in close. And that's the thing. That's what Canelo excels. So I just think if you take a guy 3 weight classes up, okay, 21 pounds, or in your case, at 154, we'll say he goes up 2. He goes up 14 pounds, all right? Crawford is going to be at his maximum probably size. He's probably not going to cut weight at all. He probably is normally around 160 to probably 170 outside of a fight. Now he's going to be fighting a guy who is going to be huge because Canelo is going to be at least 190 in that ring and comfortable at 190. We're not talking about a fat 190. He probably fights every fight 185, 190 by the time he gets in the ring. And he's used to guys who are much bigger. He's been against guys who are much, I don't want to say stronger because Crawford's strong, and a lot of boxers, they don't train for strength. So Crawford could be the strongest guy he's ever fought. But I just think that Canelo's just, when you look at all the people he's fought, all the styles he's seen, the height disadvantage he's had, the size, everything, and he's came through it for the most part outside of Beevil. I just think, and then he's the younger fighter, maybe not the fresher because he's been in more fights than Bud. I just don't think Bud could beat him in his first fight at 168. I said earlier, Taco, I don't think you were here. You give him 1 or 2 fights to acclimate, I think he could get Canelo. But for his first fight, I think it's just too much to ask. It's too much of a difference. There's weight classes for a reason.
Right. That's what I want to hear. That's exactly what I want to hear. Thank you, OG.
Hey, man,
Go ahead, Zone. My bad.
Listen, man. Crawford can beat Canelo on the outside. Crawford is a better mid-range boxer than Canelo by far. We've seen him have troubles boxing at the mid-range. Canelo sit there and try to set traps in the mid-range, and he catch lackluster fighters doing that with counter-punching. But anybody with length and speed and the ability to move from in and out in lateral movement, he has issues with that. The big fighter is not a problem because he's not facing a big fighter. He's not fighting Liam Smith and a big body European from fucking the UK. He's fighting a motherfucker from the South, Omaha, Nebraska, that is strong as shit, that got athletic ability out of this world. He can beat Canelo from the outside and in the mid-range. The shot that I give him is on the inside. The same thing I gave to Earl Spence. I don't think it would be wise until I see otherwise that Canelo and Crawford needs to be fighting in the pocket. I don't think that's going to work out for Crawford, in my opinion. But I've seen Canelo struggle with lanky, smaller fighters. His issues is not with big body Europeans. It is with these motherfuckers like Amir Khan, who boxed his shit off for 4 out of the 6 rounds until he did what? Knocked out. We know he has a bad chin. We seen Mayweather take him to school easily. We seen Lara have a controversial loss and win against Canelo. So these are the same dimensions and body structures that he have issues with. That lean, slick, fast, explosive body type, man. Cotto gave him a good go, gave him some issues when he fought him. He has problem with smaller, faster fighters with reach and good combination punching with good hand speed. Lara, Amir Khan, Floyd Mayweather all had that. And as the skill went up, Floyd Mayweather obviously being the best, he got the win by a long shot. The skill level second after that would be Lara. Lara arguably got the win. And then third would be Amir Khan, who we all know don't have a chin. Crawford is better physically in everything than all 3 of those guys, regardless of what y'all say. Man, he gonna whoop the piss out of Canelo.
Yeah,
Hey, something you brought up, the hand speed. I think that this would be the fast since Floyd. This will probably be the fastest fighter with the hand speed that he done fought since Floyd.
And since Khan.
And what people, since people want to say, I got one more thing to say about that. The punch selection. Bud's punch selection is one of the best in the game right now. The punch he decides to select the throw is masterful, bro. And that's the thing that's gonna get him in trouble too. You know what I'm saying? And besides like how Floyd did it, Floyd was more of like, I'm just gonna hit you and make you look silly. Bud is like, nigga, I'm here to hurt you, nigga. I'm here to hurt you. And I think that Bud will be the first person that knocked down Canelo. Now I ain't gonna say he gonna knock him out, but I think that Bud could catch him with a shot that he don't see coming and just get that knockdown. The first person that could knock him down, I think Bud could do it.
Yeah, but you gotta understand something, okay? When Canelo fought Mayweather, he had a lot of fights, but he had a lot of fights against nobody. Really, the only real fight he had was Austin Trout going into that Mayweather fight. So that was the biggest step up of his career. Not to mention that he had to come down in the catch weight at 152 and he was not allowed to rehydrate. So while Mayweather made him look foolish, you have to take into account that wasn't even 100% Canelo. He was weight drained and he could not get his weight back. Okay, so you have to keep that in the back of your mind. It was the biggest fight of his career to that point. He didn't have the experience that he has now. And then he couldn't rehydrate. So all the advantages that Floyd could put on Canelo, Crawford's not going to have that luxury. Crawford's not going to be able to bring him down to a catch weight. He's not going to be able to put a rehydration clause on him. Then you also have to take into account that, yes, he looked bad against Lara, but he has fought movers since Lara. He fought Danny Jacobs. He fought Caleb Plant more recently, and he did not look that bad. And then he fought Bivol. Now, Bivol, you could say he lost every round of that fight, and I would agree to that. I think I gave Canelo 2 rounds, but you could argue that he lost every round. But the difference is Bivol's way bigger than those guys, way longer than those guys. And I don't think that Terence has faster hands than Bivol, to be honest. I don't think his hand speed is quicker than Bivol's at all. I would highly disagree with that.
What is Canelo's reach? Anybody, Tony?
I don't have my computer in front of me. I think Terence has like a 75-inch reach, but I'm not sure.
74, and I think Canelo shit like a 70, man. Come on. Listen.
You're going to have a reach advantage on Canelo, probably, too.
Yeah, he is.
Right, but what you need to look at is how long was Callum Smith's arms? How long was Bivol's arms? How long was Caleb Plant's arms? I brought that up earlier, that Canelo's used to seeing long arms against his short arms.
Yeah, that's in theory against. Okay, it's one thing to have. Notice how I said, okay, we keep going on the long arms. In addition to the long arms, Crawford beats him on the outside. I wouldn't have said that shit about no fucking Smith and all these other guys. Crawford also don't gas the fuck out like no fucking Taylor Plant. Like all these guys that you're naming that has arm length advantages, they're not even in the same style or in vein as Terence Crawford.
Yeah, but
the people are in vein with long arms that has that lanky build that can exploit Canelo is Mayweather, Lara, and Amir Khan. He has trouble with those kind of fighters, period. And he asked to come down to 152 to fight Floyd Mayweather. He asked for that. Floyd didn't bring him down. He asked for that.
Did he ask for the rehydration clause?
It's not like he got exploited. The son of a bitch.
Did he ask for the rehydration clause, or did he try to fight it?
What you mean, did he try to fight it?
Did he ask for the rehydration clause, or did he try to fight it?
Yeah, he asked for the fight. He asked for it because he got in the ring with him.
No. He was on record several times that he wanted the rehydration clause. Right? He said it was ridiculous. He said he wouldn't feel the same. He did a whole speech before he ever got into the ring.
Yo, can we talk Street Science? I like where Zone was going with it.
Listen, I'm cool with that, but I don't give a damn. He agreed to the fight, and he was young, fresh. His thick ass been able to make.
I don't disagree with you. He took the fight. He took the disadvantage. My only point was, Bud is not going to control the stipulations of this fight. Canelo is. And then on top of that, hold on.
You jumped in. I wasn't finished. Okay. So I let you say what you had to say. So I'm going to continue.
Bad. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
You can chop back in. I'm rebutting what you're saying. I'm talking about what you're saying about advantages. Bud don't need none of that shit. I'm talking about Bud being able to outbox him on the outside. I don't care about what Mayweather them did. I'm saying that Mayweather, Amir Khan, and Eros Lorelanda have given Canelo trouble based on not advantages, but the physicality and the structure of their body. They're lanky, lean, they can move on the outside, they can fight in the inside, they got great lateral movement, and they have long arms. And they're willing to dance all night and also engage. That's what I'm telling you. We saw Amir Khan undress this nigga in the center of the ring until he got stopped. We saw Floyd Mayweather destroy him on the outside and in the mid-range. We saw Lara destroy him to some on the outside and in the mid-range. That's what I'm telling you. Like, you if it's two out of the look, outside, mid-range, lateral movement, punching power, switch hitting, punch selection, the levels, head to the body. I give Canelo body and I give Canelo the inside. But I don't give Canelo the inside because I think he's stronger than Crawford. I think Crawford is stronger than fucking Canelo. So I don't see, when I put that together about what Crawford can do, I don't need a fucking catch weight or none of that shit. I think he beats his ass at 168. Plain and simple.
Okay, so yes, I agree. But Amir Khan, Lara, and Mayweather were all in the same time frame. Since then, he has fought people like Danny Jacobs, who's an outside fighter, who's really good at movement, and dominated him. He's fought people like Caleb Plant early in the fight and still beat him easily. Who moves? Yes, he gasses, but when you bring up the gas tank, you're going on a big assumption here. You're going on an assumption that Terence Crawford is going to carry 168 plus pounds like he does 147. There's no guarantee that Crawford's going to have the same gas tank because he's never held that much weight before. He's never had to move with that much weight before. He's never had anybody beat on him when he's had that much weight before. And you don't even know if he's going to keep his same speed because he's never thrown his arms that heavy. He's never moved his body that heavy. There's a lot of unknown intangibles. It's not just, oh, he's 168 pounds and he's going to be the same. We don't even know if he can operate the same. He may be one of them fighters that's better off being 154, 160 pounds max and getting into the ring. Because with that much weight on him, he may not be able to fight the same for his first fight there.
Listen,
go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I'm pet. That could be the case, but it may not be the case. So what we're going off is what we have seen from both fighters in a prediction. This is early prediction talk. We understand that there's a lot of things that has to take place for this fight to even happen. Obviously, if Spence go ahead and stop Crawford, we're not going to be talking about this. I said this caveat at the beginning. As it stands now, though, Crawford is better than Canelo in every regard as a fucking boxer. Now, how does he look at 68? I still am saying that he's all those things at fucking 68, and I ain't seen him. I know he's going to still be faster than Canelo, foot speed, hand speed, and I know it's going. As a matter of fact, at 168, the strength might get even worse, and we may see some shit we ain't never seen happen to Canelo, and that's a stoppage. So at 68, the strength is going to be there too.
Zone, how many 6th division champions have been in the history of boxing?
You ain't got no 6. You ain't got except Pacquiao. Few, very few.
Pacquiao was 8. How many 6th division champions?
Yeah, 6 plus 6 and above. That's Pacquiao is one of them. And Thomas Hearns.
No, he had 5.
Did Floyd do 6?
No, Floyd.
No, he did 5.
Floyd did 5.
Hearns did 5. My point is this. My point is this. There is a reason why there's not numerous 6th division champions. Let me see. Roy may have had 6. He might be one, but there's very few that have gone up 6. I mean, we know Pacquiao. Outside of Pacquiao, and maybe Roy Jones, I don't know. I'd have to see 54, 60, 68, 75. Roy went up 6. So Roy went up 6, and you might have some really old throwback fighters who have done it.
I thought Thomas Hearns went from 147 to cruiserweight.
No. Crawford started off at 135. What I'm saying is, no, listen to me. What I'm saying, Zone, is
Thomas Hearns went from 147 to cruiserweight.
I got you, but what I'm trying to tell you, no. What I'm trying to tell you is Crawford started at 135. Him going from 147 to 168 will be his 6th weight class. He has now moved up 6 weight classes from where he began. So you're looking at a guy he's there at his 6th weight class. The history of the sport tells you guys going up that high don't tend to carry what they do because there's a ceiling, there's a cap. That's why there's only one Manny Pacquiao who's done 8 weight classes. Like, it's so rare, and he might be that guy. He might be that guy.
Also, keep in mind, Manny was coming from 108. It was like 108, 110, 112, 116. A lot of them weight divisions was within 10 pounds. Like what?
Exactly.
Right. I think he went up 30 pounds total. But what I'm saying is there's only one that's going 8. I can't think of one outside of maybe Roy that did 6. So it's such a rarity that tells you that it's like people were trying to say that Lomachenko, tried to compare him to Terence. I never thought he was as good as Terence. I said it. You can check my way back. Before, when he only had his one loss to Salido and everybody was trying to say he was better than Terence, I said, no, the fuck he's not. It's not even comparable. Terence has got over 30 fights and you got a guy who's got 10 fights and you're trying to compare them. That's stupid. Give him time to see how good or bad he is. But the point is this. Lomachenko made 4 people quit in a row. However, he went up to his 3rd weight class, 135, and he started to look more normal. Because at some point in time, the size catches up. It always does. That's why weight classes were created and invented. Now, he could be that 1 in a billion, that 1 in every 10 generations that can do it. I just say the odds are against him to be a 6th division champion.
Not
I
against
don't
him.
even got to go that far because I got a question. We've been talking about Terence Crawford's strengths and how it match up well with Canelo, but I'm curious what y'all think Terence Crawford weaknesses are and where a Canelo can exploit. Because I see, like, if you look at the Gamboa fight, probably I wouldn't say that's his toughest fight. Probably Benavidez. He probably got hurt more by Gamboa, but as far as like kind of tit for tat, Benavidez was his toughest matchup. And like those two fights, I think present something that Canelo can do. Benavidez didn't have a lot of foot movement, but Benavidez counterpunch, same thing that Gamboa did. Terence Crawford don't like when you counterpunch. He like when you come and get him. And so then what it's going to turn into is a boxing match. It's going to be slow in the beginning, which is going to play into Canelo's hands when it comes to the stamina. Because Terence Crawford not just going to go out there, throw a bunch of high work rate punches just to try to, you know what I'm saying, score points. He looking to be effective, you know what I'm saying, with his shots and you know what I'm saying, really place him to set you up. So what you're talking about now is you're talking about a 6-round fight. So because the first 5-6 rounds is going to be kind of a chess match. Now you're talking about a race to really 7 rounds. So I don't see anybody really stopping him. If anybody going to get stopped, it's going to be Bud for the points that Tony just laid out. But I'm curious where y'all think that Bud, his weaknesses lie and what Canelo can exploit.
I don't think Canelo has anything. He doesn't have that IQ or that talent to be able to exploit any weaknesses if there are weaknesses. Because when you look at Bud's fights, if you're a Bud Crawford fan or just a fan of boxing that just likes to watch boxing, you would see this man doesn't come into fights the same way. You can't look at one fight and then look at his next fight and then say, yeah, he keeps doing that. That's not what you get when you're dealing with Bud Crawford. And the second thing I wanted to say was this: if you take all of Canelo Alvarez's talents, all the people that he fought, right? None of them were ever an active Hall of Famer. None of them were ever a 2-time in the 4-belt era, or even in the 3-belt era, 2-division undisputed champion.
Cotto and Triple G was Cotto and Triple G was active Hall of Fame.
No, they weren't. They didn't have their fist cast until after they retired. That bronze fist casting goes back to 1920.
Oh, you mean like a literal induction? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about this. When I say he's an active Hall of Famer, that means he's already completed the first step. As soon as he retires, you can bet within that first year he's going to get his full induction.
Bro, Cotto
not have to wait the 5 years because I don't want to get off into that. I'm just making my point. When you look at what Bud does, when you look at his accomplishments, his accomplishments, his accolades, no one that Canelo has fought is on that level. There's an old saying, styles make fights, and there's levels to this. Now, when I look at these two guys, I see more flaws in Canelo Alvarez than I see in Terence Bud Crawford. For me, I'm looking at how Bud Crawford's team is going to exploit all of those flaws of Canelo Alvarez to be the third person who beats him. Maybe even like Zone 6 is saying, the first person to stop him, because he can be stopped. It's just Floyd didn't have the power. If we were talking about early Floyd Mayweather, guaranteed early Floyd, when Floyd was knocking motherfuckers the fuck out, he probably would have knocked him out. Bivol is an excellent boxer. He's in 1 to 3 of every category on CompuBox, but he just doesn't have that, or didn't put himself in that position to stop Canelo. So
Bivol's not a knockout artist, so you can't hold that against him. But here's what you gotta
Bivol
understand:
knock him out, but he doesn't take enough risks. And I just want to stand here and make enough points, make a few points. The reason that I think Bud could possibly beat Canelo, as a person that's a fan of both, is because Crawford's style and the way that he goes about a fight, he take away a fighter's best weapon. And I do believe that Canelo could take advantage, to answer your question, 513, of some things that Crawford has done in the past, such as the pulling back with both hands down and getting him to endure into a firefight, things like that. There is some things that a fighter would look at Crawford and say, okay, I could try to take advantage of some of those things. But he comes out, to AC's point, and he fights a different style. You don't know how the man is going to come out. You see what I'm saying? If he could carry up that weight and still keep his sharpness, what I was saying in the comments earlier, then I do think that Crawford could potentially outbox and maybe drop Canelo a few times, possibly even stop him. But yeah, it is a tough task, and it is something that has rarely to maybe never even been done before for a fighter to do this. But this is why we want to see the fight.
Here's another thing. I understand that Crawford, he outclassed Earl Spence, and it was probably his best, most impressive win to date by the way he did it. Not just who he beat, but the way he beat him. But here's the thing. Yes, he had a great win. I all the credit in the world. You got to give it to him. But like the way that some people are talking is like this dude's invincible. This dude got pieced up by Gamboa. Okay, no, let's not even go that far back. Let's not even go to Benavidez. He was getting pieced up by Sean Porter. Yes, he stopped him, but he was still getting pieced up. Yes, he stopped David Avanesian, but he was getting pieced up by David Avanesian. Now, if those two fighters could piece him up, the difference in Canelo and Earl Spence is Canelo has never been in a car wreck. Canelo doesn't do all that wild shit outside of the ring. He's just as dedicated as Crawford is. So you're talking about a guy who's not coming into the ring diminished, who lives the boxing lifestyle that's much bigger, who's fought way bigger names, way more talented fighters. And I'm not saying resumes or anything, because I think Crawford has a great resume. But when you look at it, the totality of all of it, like Crawford gets touched up a lot. And if you've got guys who are much smaller, don't counterpunch as good, do everything worse than Canelo, piecing up Crawford, and then Canelo has arguably got one of the best chins in boxing, regardless of weight class. We've never seen him stun. We've never seen him drop. We've never seen him truly hurt. He got in there with Triple G, who was at the time the hardest puncher at 160, and he ate everything with no issues, back-to-back punches, and kept coming forward. So the idea that Crawford is just going to stop this dude is just, is it possible? Yes, he could prove me wrong. I think the likelihood is low.
I'm just trying to have a conversation.
People are forgetting that. Like,
go ahead,
Crawford was a Hall of Famer. Lara is not a Hall of Famer, but it was a point in which people were saying that Lara was one of the best fighters in the sport at 154, 160. GGG is likely going to be in the Hall of Fame. Danny Jacobs was a good fighter.
Amir Khan was going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I don't know about
Amir Khan was piecing him up, and what Bud make Amir Khan was piecing him up, and then Bud stops made Amir Khan quit.
Canelo done fought at every level. He done moved up. He done unified divisions. He done fought on pound for pound guys. He done did everything. Now, we may not like Canelo, and I think this is one of the things that we got to be careful with, because this is what some Spence fans got caught up with Bud. They ain't like Bud, and so they only chose to see the ways in which they could possibly win. Listen, Canelo not likable. He do some fuck shit. As a Canelo fan,
513. Let's over here. And this ain't no like thing, because what happens is when people start doing the hating, I understand you don't. No. We get away from the sweet science. So, and I like Canelo. Everybody over here respects Canelo. Everybody like Canelo. So I understand you're talking, but the caveat and the notion that we might be blinded by some shit that ain't true. No. We're just looking at the athletic ability of both.
Okay, that's fair. I keep it to that. But like my point is, I feel like it might be some. I don't want to underestimate Canelo just because he had a tough fight with some bigger fighters who are pound for pound. Like, so I don't want to make like you know. So let's not make sure that we just go like Lomachenko. Like right now, Lomachenko done lost every major step up fight versus pound for pound, but like people still want to fight him, see him fight against top guys. And he don't got nowhere near the resume or the skill set as far as execution. Now it might look cute, but I'm talking about like, are you getting motherfuckers the fuck up out of there? Are you putting W's on the board? Or do it look good when you on the mid, you know what I'm saying, fucking mitts and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like what are we getting W's? Are we racking up legacy? And now we can talk, like, I think Bud Crawford got a slightly better legacy because of the 2-weight division undisputed. But let's not make it seem like Canelo ain't been 2-time ring undisputed, cleaned out divisions himself. So it's not like it's this big gap. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to make sure that we keeping it on the up and up, because like my man was saying, Spence was damaged goods, and we was trying to tell Spence fans that's like, bro, like, dude, like even if he wasn't in a car wreck, it would have been a difference in the skill set. But now that the car wreck too, he ain't got a snowball chance in hell. You know what I'm saying?
The thing about it too is, I just want to, not to cut you off, I just want to state this real fast because it popped into my mind. Here's what you got to understand. When it's saying that Crawford can knock out Canelo, that's a big assumption because we've never seen Canelo hurt. But what we have seen and what we do know is Canelo can knock out Terence Crawford. If Crawford can get put on his ass by Mean Machine, where they didn't count it, but he was put on his ass, there is no doubt that Canelo, if he catches him, he's going down.
Yep, and the same thing that Mean Machine did was Mean Machine had to get on the front foot and put the pressure on.
I want to ask Tony a question.
In the danger to get caught.
Hey, listen, that applies. Go ahead, you can ask your question, but let me throw this out here just for the audience. That applies both ways. I ain't never seen Crawford stop. I ain't seen Canelo stop. But I also know that Crawford been stopping motherfuckers for the last, 10 years? So I don't know. We'll see.
18 straight stoppages. 18 straight stoppages. Actually, Earl made 19. So he's actually up there as far as being a champion and defending belts. He's got like 19 fucking straight stoppages, bro. That shit is, you can't sneeze that. You can't sneeze at that.
The post off. But Tony, I just want to ask you this, because this is the gist that I'm getting from you. I just want you to say it to me clearly. Do you feel that Crawford don't belong in the ring with Canelo? Is that how you feel?
No, not at all. Like if they get the fight, I don't want to see the fight because I think it's going to be not what people think. I think it's going to be very one-sided because he's going above and beyond. Like if he does it, he's automatic a top 10 ATG. I don't give a fuck. If he can pull off this 6th weight class and beat a guy like Canelo, he's an ATG top 10. Well, I'm saying top 10 because it gets really stiff when you get into the top 10. But by default, he's a top 10, and we could argue who he kicks out. But I'm not saying he doesn't belong in there because he does. He's very good, very talented. But what I know is eventually the rubber meets the road, and eventually it doesn't matter how good you are, you're just going to be too small. You're not going to be big enough to stop what's coming at you. And the one thing about Canelo is, if you can't fucking hurt him, I don't care how good you are at hitting him, he'll take 3 or 4 to let off one big counter shot that rocks the fuck out of you. Like, he will.
So basically, you saying the same thing that happened to Canelo against Bivol is gonna happen to Bud against Canelo, is what you're saying.
Pretty much, but Canelo's a lot bigger to Bud.
He's not a lot bigger. He's not a lot bigger. He's thicker, but he's not a lot bigger. Canelo's only 5'7".
When I say big, when I say big, Shelton, it only refers to weight. I don't care how tall somebody is. Being tall.
No. He's not. He doesn't come in like that though. He doesn't come into fights 185 when he fights at 175. He's not that big of a guy.
Yeah, why y'all keep saying Canelo so well? Let's make sure. I thought Canelo was having trouble getting up to 175, and I thought the motherfucker was hovering around about 170-ish on his fight nights.
Zone. I'll tell you an article you can look up. So if you go way back, when Canelo first went to 175 and won his first title there against Kovalev, Oscar De La Hoya came out of his mouth in an article, I think it was with IFL, somebody like that, but he said, when Canelo gets in the ring, I think everybody's going to be surprised that there's not going to be a size difference. Canelo will be 185 to 190 pounds when he steps in there with Kovalev. Now, we're talking about way back when he fought Kovalev.
But what is you doing that? See, I hate when they don't do the rehydration weight on the pay-per-view. I wish they'd go back to doing that so we could really kind of fucking see. But the truth be told, even if Canelo, so for instance, you're saying bigger as in weight, and that's a concern.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Height does not matter.
And I'm with you. I got you on that because Crawford is good in that regard. This is my concern. First of all, if Canelo busts over the weight limit and come in with that 180 shit, and he allows Crawford to come in at 168, probably going to drop down to 165, 162 by the fight progress. The speed is going to be very apparent because Canelo is going to look lethargic. This ain't the fight for Canelo to be trying to be big bad wolf, especially with a guy who fucks with weight. 180, listen, a guy who deadlifts 300 and 400 pounds, he's not really concerned about 180 and 190. That's really light work. You don't start getting to really having to move weight to 225. Canelo ain't that. Like, let's stop acting like Canelo's this tank that's coming in at 250. The motherfucker is 180. There's some strippers that weigh more than that shit. So let's stop the bullshit. Like 180 is this massive man that's walking around. I push a 180 nigga goddamn down so quick. That's not that much weight to a strong motherfucker like Crawford. You talking like if you come in at 180, 190, that's the weight shit for Crawford that he can't overcome. It is going to make him slower. It's going to make him slower. You don't give him.
So you saying weight don't play a factor at all negatively for Crawford? It only play a positive?
No. Weight plays a role. Hold on, 513. Weight plays a role, but how? When it comes to Canelo, he's going to be slower and bigger against a smaller, faster guy.
So listen to what I'm trying to tell you.
Crawford gonna hold the weight.
You respond to 513, Tony. Goddamn, we let you talk.
But you're misunderstanding the whole thing. You're thinking that
I'm responding to 513 though. I'm not misunderstanding what he's saying.
All right.
Damn. What I'm saying is for Canelo, it's going to make him slow. His feet is already slow. You cannot afford to come in big and bulky with the strength approach against a nigga who can fucking deadlift 400 pounds and who's also extremely fast. That's basic athletics.
Yeah, but his chin don't deadlift 400 pounds.
Okay,
yeah, but he spars with Soul Code. Him and Soul Code spar constantly. Also, he spars with Houston Alexander, a motherfucker that's above 200 pounds.
Anybody who's ever been to a boxing gym, anybody who's ever boxed will tell you sparring is not fighting. And
he's never been knocked out, though. You said his chin.
You're not going to take that away. Stop that, bro. I'm telling you as a matter of fact, when you spar and you're 147 and you're in the ring sparring a guy 168 and a guy that's at least 218 pounds, it doesn't matter whether it's a real fight or not. What matters is how that big motherfucker cracks you. And if you could take their punches, I'm not saying that a Canelo Alvarez punch is not going to sit Bud down if he connects properly. But what I'm saying is Bud chin is acclimated to taking a punch from 168 on up to 200 and some odd pounds. And I can get the motherfucker on the phone right now that be in the gym with these guys.
I can agree with that.
Spence not better than Canelo, and Spence is still able to do what he wanted to do. The shit just ain't work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it wasn't like Spence did.
Canelo touched that chin though. That's the question.
Yes,
Canelo
he will, because he gets touched by a lot of fighters. So Canelo's definitely going to touch him. When Canelo
he get touched by Spence.
Nah, or like in like the first and second round, it was a looping left that landed, and after Bud ate it, it was over.
Nobody.
But see, here's the thing. Right?
Hold on. I've never heard one diehard fangirl for Spence ever put Spence on the level of Canelo. To even try to make the statement that Spence is anywhere near Canelo's level of ability is just audacious and ridiculous.
Nobody said that. When we said this is what we saying. Hold on. This is what we saying. That's the same shit we heard in the whole build up to the fight. We heard that he got hit by Gamboa. We heard that he got hit by Mean Machine. He got hit by this guy. He got wobbled.
Let him answer the question. Tony, who said what you just said? Who's implying any of that shit? Because Shelton finna save you. So who said that?
No, Shelton's not here to save me. I'm referring back to what was just said. And as far as AC goes, to continue on,
Yeah,
it
what
does
was
not
said?
matter.
What was said? What was said that somebody is saying that Canelo is comparable to Earl Spence, who is still
You
alive.
literally just out of your mouth made the statement what happened with Earl Spence. You literally just said that in the context of comparing Earl Spence to Canelo. Like that literally
No,
just
no,
came
no,
out
no.
of your mouth.
That's not what the fuck I did. See,
You
that's
said,
see.
go
That,
on the playback
let
and
me
you
let me
said
let me
what
tell
happened
you
with
let me
Earl
tell you
Spence.
let me tell you what I did. Okay, stop with the fuck shit and the fake college thinking. I ain't put no comparison on nobody. I'm talking about physicality. I don't give a fuck about what you like about Canelo and these names that you're naming. When I look at athletics, I'm looking at physical performance and what I can see with my eyes that is tangible, not make believe, not mythical. And what I'm using is what I've seen from Crawford. And I'm saying he has not been knocked out, but he's knocking people the fuck out. Is he going to do it against Canelo? Maybe, maybe not. That's why we're having a conversation. But I'm not comparing Earl Spence by no stretch of the imagination to no fucking Canelo Alvarez in no context.
Okay, well, when you made a statement, what happened with Earl Spence, and that brings that into the conversation. It's
No,
irrelevant
what
what
I'm
happened
saying,
with Earl
this
Spence.
is what I
That's
was saying,
irrelevant. Now,
Tony.
if you talk about physicality, their physicality isn't even comparable. You're talking about a
This
guy
is what we're
who's a
saying, though, Tony.
Sheldon,
This is the same
I'm
argument.
talking.
Hold on, you've been
Sheldon,
talking.
I'm talking.
This is the
I'm
same
talking,
argument
Sheldon.
y'all been using.
Here we go.
You're saying the man got hit by Gamboa, the man got wobbled
We
by this
got
guy,
you.
he
We're
got
not talking
wobbled by
about that,
that
Sheldon.
guy. And my retort is the same. What happened to those guys that supposedly wobbled him and hurt him and did all this? What happened to them?
They all lost, but they're not Canelo. So,
They,
anyways,
they
moving
all
on
got
from that.
knocked out.
Moving
Now, they
on
didn't
from that.
lose. They got
Here's
knocked out.
the thing about
They
it.
all got knocked out. So we don't know if seeing a punch coming, if he gets hit by Canelo, if he'll get stopped, if he'll get stunned, or if he sees it coming and rolls with it. We don't know that. That's why we want to see the fight. You can't just make all these assumptions that Canelo is this, Canelo is that. Canelo ain't knocked nobody out in a minute.
No.
So
Bro,
we don't
both
know
sides
what
got to make
Canelo is.
assumptions to make a
Hold on. Let
prediction.
me finally speak.
So
Just
that's
talk
kind
to
of
me.
weird. But
513.
the
Can
point
I
of
please get in? Can you
go
let me
ahead,
get
bro.
in? All right. Thank you, my dude. Look, when you look at physicality, Earl Spence is not even comparable to Canelo's physicality. We're talking about a guy who's went all the way up
We
to
know that.
175.
We know that. Go
Hold on.
ahead. We know that.
Sheldon, stop talking over me. So we're talking about a guy who went all the way up to 175 to be the guy who was stopping an ass load of people, okay? And he knocked him out with a jab. Earl Spence is a career welterweight. He's a career 147-pound fighter who's finally going back up to 145 where he started, but his whole career has been at 147. They're not even comparable in the physicality realm. There's no realm that Earl Spence even measures up to him as an inch versus a mile. Canelo so far above. Now, again, coming back to Canelo, I've been labeled a Canelo hater. Like people who come to my channel say I hate Canelo. I want Canelo to get his ass whooped against Charlo because I think he's a fucking duck. He should have fought, and I still say this, and I wish he would fight him right now. Andrade. I've always said I believe Andrade would beat Canelo.
Oh man.
Hold on. And he's ducked him since 154. I
Yeah.
wish he would fight Benavidez. I
Yeah.
think he could beat Benavidez, but I want to see the fight. But it seems like he's ducking both of them.
Yeah.
So I'm by far no Canelo fan person when people say I'm a Canelo hater. But the fact of the matter is, to go back to what Sheldon said, yes, we saw Bud get hurt, and then he came back to win the fight by knockout. However, you're talking about if he's getting hurt by little men, what is he going to do when a big man rocks him harder than he's ever been rocked before? And then that bigger man has never been hurt by men who are even much bigger than him.
We don't know because a lot of it is about punch placement. Tony, that's what you keep forgetting. Punch placement makes up for a whole lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Not when you have.
I didn't see him hurt by Gamboa, and I didn't see him hurt by Mean Machine. He just took the punch, got up, and fucked them niggas the fuck up.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna keep repeating again is the man spars with a 168-pounder named So Cold, and he also spars with a 218-pounder named Houston Alexander. Now, sparring is not a fight, and there's a lot of pads you wear, but if you can take those punches because it's weight, behind those punches, and you're in training to fight a 147-pound fight, that says a lot. Now, when he was hit by Mean Machine, he said, Bud Crawford out of his own mouth said, yeah, that worried me a little bit, but I wasn't hurt because I was more afraid of the fact that this is like my first big timeout in a 10 or 12 round fight or some shit like that. And I got to get a man, I got to give him his respect. So at the end of the day, Canelo Alvarez got beat up by a smaller Floyd Mayweather. He was just outboxed. He was outboxed by a bigger Bivol.
Here's where I find the contradiction, and it's interesting. Like, so Crawford get credit for getting hurt and coming back, but Canelo don't get credit.
He wasn't hurt. He was not hurt.
Okay, he gets credit for taking punches.
Let's go back to the video. Tell me what round.
Okay, versus Gamboa, was he hurt or not?
No, he was not hurt.
He was not hurt.
I do believe he was hurt.
See, come on, man. We got to be able to talk in reality. Like, you don't got to win every point. Because when you try to win every point, you end up losing your major point. Because we can all agree we got eyeballs and we've seen that he was hurt versus Gamboa. So let's move on.
I want to point.
So, he get credit. He get credit. Which, like, bro, I'm one of the people early on who was telling people Crawford by destruction versus Spence. But he get credit for getting, which I'm saying, and in the positives, I credit him for getting hurt and bouncing back and getting the job here. But I also got to give Canelo credit for having a dog chin and being in there with known punchers and bigger men and men bigger than him. You just said he's not the biggest dude in the world. Is he? He's smart and he getting there and he still ain't been hurt. So like, you got to give both sides the equal credit. And if I got to give one, and if I'm weighing the two, give me the guy who's been in there with big you know what I'm saying, notable punchers who ain't been hurt versus the guy who get hurt and then got to make an adjustment. So like that's the physicality.
So you saying you ain't never seen Canelo get hurt? So you didn't see Canelo get hurt in that Bivol fight?
Or that Hatton fight? No, he was tired. He was going to get stopped because he was worn out.
You ain't see him get hurt by You ain't see him get hurt by a lean Matthew Hatton, Ricky Hatton brother. You didn't see him get hurt
16.
Hold on, no, he wasn't no goddamn 16. This Canelo. Okay, so now there you go.
How old was you?
Hold on. So you can use Gamboa at 135, which Crawford was less of age, but I can't use Canelo. See,
I'm talking about championship level fight.
No. You was talking about a double standard. You started off talking about a double standard, and you asked Shelton in the panel about a double standard. Correct. So now I'm saying you're right. I'm giving you credit. So now I got to give examples of when they both was hurt. And when I give Canelo examples, which was early in his career, okay, against lesser opponents that had a lean body type, Matthew Hatton, go back and look at it, and Miguel Cotto fucking brother.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I will concede that he did get hurt in that fight.
Okay. I've been saying if I can use more, I can't use those then? Okay.
But that to me, that's a little bit of a reach, even though it's true, it's a little bit of a reach because he had 147 trying to kill down to make weight at 16 years old, move up 154 to become champion. But that's fair. That's fair. So then even still, you got that one fight. We got several questionable moments from Crawford.
No, he was not 16, bro. He was at 154. He was fighting to get in contingency.
He acting like Bud was fighting at 47 and Gamboa was at 35. Wasn't they both at the same division? Wasn't they both at 135?
Who?
Right.
Crawford and Gamboa. Wasn't they both at 135?
They were against Bivol. That's some bullshit, bro. Like if Bivol had the IQ, bro, he would have knocked Canelo the fuck out the ring, bro.
Come on, man. If Bivol had the IQ, you mean the pound for pound, the ring? Like what are you talking about? Like Bivol is one of the best fighters on the planet. If he had the IQ,
no, but
you're talking about like he's some zero bone, bro.
No, that's not how I'm saying. I'm just saying that to your point in saying that Canelo never been hurt. I seen the man hurt.
He wasn't hurt. He was gassed. He was gonna get stopped because he was tired and worn out.
Let's just get away. Can we just get away from the word hurt and say rocked? Because I saw him rocked. I never saw him hurt.
Yeah,
right.
I agree. I think it's the same thing for Canelo. I think they both in the same position. I think both of them have been rocked, but I ain't never seen them really just out on their feet in real danger. I see them kind of shrug it off, really get up and get to work. That's for both. I'm just being honest. For both of them, they both got incredible recovery. They both got an incredible chin, but we both can cite issues with both of them being rocked and both of them stopping shit. I mean, so it's just going to come down to speed and IQ, which I'm telling you, that's where Crawford is going to make his money. All this chin talk and getting punched in the face talk, Crawford or Canelo, okay, Crawford don't hardly get hit like that to me. I mean, in those significant clean shots, he does get touched because everybody get touched. Canelo gets hit a lot cleaner to me than Crawford. Now, shit, I don't know if that's because the guys are not punching like that or what. But I believe that Crawford, if he touched Canelo, just like if Canelo touched Crawford, I think Canelo gonna go to sleep if Crawford touch him. Vice versa now, vice versa.
So here's my biggest issue. If you look at using your example, right, you had to go all the way back. Whenever he fought Matthew Hatton, he was like 20 or 21 years old. So you had to go back to a 21-year-old Canelo, right, who was super young. But Crawford just fought Cal Velasquez, 3-4 years ago, somewhere around there. So we're talking about recent history versus distant history. So it's like he's still getting hurt later in his career. So while you could go back to when Canelo was in his early 20s, since he's been in 160, 168, 175, this dude has not been hurt. Like Crawford has been hurt in the recent past. Like it's been recently he's been hurt. And the thing about it is, I'm not saying by default Canelo's going to hurt him because Canelo may not be able to hit him. Crawford may have movement so good Canelo can't land on him. That's a possibility. We don't know. I'm just saying again that when Crawford gets in there with a guy who's been all the way up to 175, who's been hit by the hardest puncher at 175 and it didn't budge his head. When he got hit by the hardest puncher at 160, it didn't budge his head. When he got hit by the hardest puncher at 168 and it didn't budge his head, and Canelo's standing across from him. Canelo's 185, 190 pounds like he is for every single fight he's in since he fought Kovalev. It's not going to be I don't think he's going to hurt him. I don't think he's going to hurt him.
I agree with that first level that I described earlier. I said that in the pocket, all of what you in 513 are describing as positive Canelo, I agree. In the pocket. All that sounds true and real to me. If he go inside the pocket, Canelo's a little stronger, a little bit more durable, a little bit heavier, a little bit bigger, got a high IQ. If he catch him in the inside, because that's where Crawford for some reason wants to stay, I can see that being a dangerous situation. The same credit I gave for Earl Spence. But however, you guys have not, we already understand that in the inside that it's going to be a problem for Crawford that we know of until Crawford show us something different. In the mid-range and on the outside, I haven't heard any explanations for that. See, so we're talking about the fight as if though we know it's going to be fought in the pocket. All that shit that y'all talking about don't apply if he fights on the outside. 190 don't do shit for you if Crawford's on the outside.
Canelo one of the best in the world at cutting the ring off.
And jabbing. He's got one of the best jabs in the world on top of it.
Yeah, that's what you say, but I didn't see him. I don't think he catches Crawford. And another thing, Crawford is a better mid-range fighter than him. If Canelo gets stuck in the mud, he get caught thinking too fucking much and waiting on counters. Canelo likes to play the rope-a-dope game a little bit too. Let's not act like Canelo don't like to sit on the fucking ropes and take breathers and counterpunch you to stop your ass. And Crawford is not overzealous. If he gets overzealous, he could get countered. But Crawford is not that kind of low IQ fighter. He's not Earl Spence. In the mid-range and the center of the ring, man, Crawford is going to dismantle this guy worse than Amir Khan did. If he fights him on the outside, he's going to dismantle him worse than what Floyd did. He's going to keep him at the end of his jab, at the end of his punches, and you're going to see red hair, his hair going to be snapping, and sweat going to be flying everywhere, and Canelo is not going to be able to catch him unless they get in the pocket. And God knows that this was going to be crazy about the shit. I hear what y'all saying about that inside, but I believe Crawford is going to show you that he's stronger than Canelo, and what's going to happen after that, that's where we're going to have the excuses, that's where we're going to have the claims, and that's where we're going to have the problems at, because I'm telling you right now that when Canelo gets in the inside on Crawford, Crawford is going to handle his ass, and everybody is going to hate it, because Crawford is better than him on the inside. I feel it's 50-50. Don't listen, let me hear this now. I thought it was 50-50 for Earl Spence. But I'm telling you, you guys are going to have a problem if Crawford beats him on the ice outside the mid-range, which you guys can comprehend that. But when they get on the inside and it don't go like the fuck y'all talking about, y'all going to say the man on some shit. It's going to be all kind of excuses. I'm telling you. I know what it's going to be.
I got one.
Do you think that Crawford is a better inside fighter than Cotto?
I got one more question. Because
I think Cotto one of the best inside fighters ever. And essentially what Canelo did with that is exactly what I think he's going to do with Crawford. He going to play the patient game and make it boring. That's one of the Canelo's best attributes, is that he is not looking for style points. He will go like, and sometimes, and I think that you can get Crawford to get a little bit anxious because Crawford want to put a show on and get you the fuck out of there. That's one of the things we love about Crawford, is that he ain't looking to coast. He looking to put it on.
He changed that this fight. That's a myth. He changed that. He did not do that with Earl Spence like people said. He gonna try to. No, he's past that. He's not looking to get his lick back. So that is not going to apply to Canelo.
I think that's the one. Even though that is his most recent performance, because that's a fight against Errol Spence where he wanted to beat on Errol Spence because of the 5-year buildup that happened. Any other time where you can get under Bud's skin, Bud was not going to allow Spence under his skin. That was one of them performances that you hang it up and put it on the wall, like Floyd versus Corrales or Floyd versus Gotti. Not every fight looked like that. You know what I'm saying?
Canelo is going to look like Gotti too. He's going to make Canelo look like, man, listen, this is the only problem.
Bro, if he do that, he top 3 all time, bro. I know. You talking like Canelo, Danny Garcia or something.
No, I'm not talking like he Danny Garcia. I'm talking like Canelo is Canelo. My problem is the man got bricks in his feet. I just don't see how he's too slow-footed. Canelo is a great boxer, man. But in the mid-range, y'all see what I see. Crawford got them long arms. Crawford going to be switch hitting, busting him up upside his head, lateral movement, and Canelo going to be sitting there shaking his head all day, trying to set traps. And Crawford's not just going to be there, man. Unless he just want to go on a suicide mission and go on the inside and get clipped with something, which I agree with you guys. I think that's a 50-50 until Crawford goes in the inside and he pushes this motherfucker back and everybody going to be like, oh, shit, he's on something.
Look, I'm only going to say Canelo. Hold on.
Canelo just survived the best range fighter in all of boxing, and that's Bevel. He's the best from the outside. Yes, he got outclassed out. He got schooled. But the difference in Bevel is Bevel fights any one of them guys at 147. He's stopping every single fucking one of them.
I disagree with him being the best outside fighter.
He's stopping every single one of them. Bevel is one of the highest IQs in boxing. Period.
I don't think
it's the only time we ever seen Canelo get beat by a jab.
But let me say this.
You never seen Canelo get beat by a jab.
Let me say this. The thing that worries me about this fight, and I've also brought this up on why I believe Canelo stops Jamel. You're going to be looking at 2 throwback fighters, 2 fighters that know somewhat of the history of boxing. Canelo, if you look at his style, he punches you anywhere the fucking punch is going to land. He'll punch you in your arms. He'll punch you in your shoulders. He'll punch you anywhere that the punch is going to land. Now, if you can't control him at mid-range or distance, then he's just going to run through you with that style, just punching, just throwing the punches out and touching you wherever he can touch you, which is a classic throwback boxing style. Now,
Agreed.
when you look at Bud Crawford knows how to put that lead shoulder right up on him, which is somewhat of an old school throwback style, and just not give you the angle you actually want to actually land those punches. So Bud Crawford is going to give that man angles on the inside that Canelo is not used to seeing. The last time he saw angles like that is when he faced Floyd Mayweather.
No, but you know what Canelo has started doing is after he fought Floyd Mayweather, he got way better at moving at the waist and upper body and pivoting off the front foot. So
but he doesn't turn anybody or turn with people. He doesn't turn anybody and he doesn't turn with people.
Yeah, but he uses just enough to be able to keep you from getting off. And that's all
he's fighting. Dude, listen, I get it. What my first video on here, I never forget, and everybody was talking shit. I came on here and I was like, man, this is the time to drop a video. And I predicted the Mayweather versus Canelo Alvarez fight. I said the same thing that I'm saying about what Mayweather was going to do. And I said this line here. I remember the video. I said, this is going to look like Carlos Baldomir. All the people, oh, fuck you. You're new. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Canelo, listen, I like Canelo, but Canelo attributes just doesn't allow him outside of power to the body or the head. It just doesn't allow him to exploit your boy Terence Crawford. Now, if Canelo was one of these, I'm going to put it to you like this. If Canelo fought like Castano or Sean Porter with his size and he was like that, or he fought like Tank Davis, I would be like, you know what? Crawford might need to stay away from him. But Canelo is such a patient, smart fighter. Sometimes he sits too long, man. And then if you work him a little bit at a harder pace, he gasses out at 168 because he's carrying 190 to Tony's point, which going to give him some power, but it's definitely going to slow him down for his dexterity, agility, movement on the back foot and in the mid-range game, man. It's just common sense. The more weight you put on, yes, you're going to have the strength. I don't suggest Crawford go into the hole like that. I don't agree with that. I think it might be a short night for Crawford. I see that, what you guys are saying. But there's three different ranges. There's the outside. What's the remedy for that? Okay, so let me ask you guys a question. Since we got the inside down pat, let's start from the outside. Let's say Crawford goes in here. Everybody's on the up and up. No drugs, no nothing. Both of them 100%. We know both of their attributes. Everybody's speed and power is intact, right? Let's give them what they get. What if Crawford goes in here and decides to dance all night? What does Canelo then do when Crawford decides to dance all night with the power and speed that Crawford possesses? What happens then?
You see, that's the style that Canelo don't want to see. And when Canelo go in there, and Bud, contrary to what everybody on this panel or most people on this panel believe, when Bud get to taking away them weapons and neutralize the man, then what? Then you gonna have the same type of scenario that you had in the Bivol fight, that you had in the motherfucking Floyd Mayweather fight. You see what I'm saying? That's Bud's attributes, is to take away a motherfucker's best weapon. Sure, we all recognize that if Canelo is able to get to him, land on that chin, he got a possibility of hurting Bud very badly. But we got to realize at the same time, Bud ain't the one to be slept on. He might take those weapons away. He might box and use his lateral movement on this motherfucker, and he might go ahead and breeze to a victory. He might even be able to hurt Canelo. I think it's very possible to hurt Canelo. Y'all seem to be the ones talking like Canelo is somebody invincible. And I'm going to leave it at that, man. Y'all chomp at the bits. I'm in the chat.
No, Canelo can definitely lose. Canelo can definitely lose, but as far as him getting hurt, that's a different story. He definitely can get hit. He definitely can get outboxed. But when you try to say he's going to get knocked out or hurt, that's just something that I think he's proven.
Well, this is the thing. What you got? What you think going to happen on the outside? He's saying he could stop him. Okay, but
here's the thing about it. So we have recent evidence of that. And Canelo has proven he's not the same fighter that fought Lara. He's not the same fighter that fought Mayweather or Austin Trout or even Amir Khan. Like,
And the
he's not
plan
that
versus
same
Laura
fighter.
was good.
Whenever, hold on.
Let Tony cook, because I'm trying to figure out what he's saying about the outside. Go ahead.
When Jacobs tried to box him from the outside, it didn't turn out too good for Jacobs. When Caleb Plant tried to box him from the outside, it didn't turn out too good for him. Now, in 175, Bivol was very successful. However, even with Bivol being a 175-pound natural fighter who's 6 feet tall, and I forget his arm reach, even with that big disparity in size, IQ, speed, etc., Canelo still pinned him against the ropes several times in that fight. And that's the thing about it. If Canelo could pin somebody like Bivol, if he could outbox somebody like Jacobs, if he could outbox Plant before he gets tired early in the fight, I have no doubts that he can pin Terence Crawford. I have no doubts from the outside. And the thing, too, about it is you got to keep in mind that the most dangerous place to be against somebody who hits hard is at the end of their punch. And at maximum range, Crawford is going to stay at the end of Canelo's punch, where he is the most dangerous.
513, what you got? And then AC, you got it. What on the outside? Crawford comes in, say, hey man, fuck it. I'm gonna stay on the outside. How do you see that playing out?
Hey, real fast. Hey, Zone, I'm listening from the sideline. My phone's about to die. 6% battery. Thanks for letting me on. I'm still gonna listen though with it on the charger.
Oh yeah, anytime, Tony. We know we like to talk good shit. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, but I'm still listening. Chop it up.
Okay, go ahead.
Yo, so essentially, in order to stay on the outside, that's pretty much you got to have a jab and lateral movement, things that Terence Crawford does well. So how do you counter this? You just got to go back to boxing basics. You got to be able to have timing and be able to shift and be able to turn with them, and be able. So essentially, if Terence Crawford is trying to use lateral movement and get out, he's going to have a pattern. He's a great fighter, but every fighter has patterns. So you're going to be able to eventually, over time, patience, cut the ring off and see what he likes to do. You're going to feint. Canelo's one of the best in the world at giving feints. So he's going to feint and see what his game plan is. Is he trying to jab and counter you? Is he trying to jab and get out to the right or to the left? Is he ducking undershots? What is he trying to do? So then after that, you start cutting off the ring. And because the only person who's ever landed jabs consistently on Canelo was Bivol. Not even Floyd was really jabbing him up like that. He was landing a lot of power shots on him because he was fighting at that mid range, which I do like. That is a problem. That's a problem. But you know, on the inside, I think there's an answer, and on the outside, I think it favors Canelo as well. Because look at the 2 Triple G fights. The first fight, Canelo was on the front foot trying to collapse the pocket, cutting off the ring, he was on the back foot. Trying to outbox, you know what I'm saying? And then on the second fight, he was on the front foot, cutting off the ring. He showed he could do both. Now, the thing is, Crawford is way more athletically dynamic than Triple G, but I would question whether the durability and the power will be the same. Once you start moving up in weight, defense is a premium and speed is a premium, but you're going to get touched and you're going to get cornered, and it's going to happen. That ring is small, and Canelo was, like I said, one of the best at cutting it off.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this from the.
So you guys, let me just confirm with 513. So you saying that you believe that he can trap and cut Crawford off if Crawford comes in and decides to stay on the outside?
I think that he's going to evade the jab long enough to make Crawford anxious. Crawford not just going to stay on the outside, even if he outmaneuvering him and being a ring general. If he not landing the jab consistently, he's going to want to come in and try to.
No, hold on. See, that's what I'm saying. Stop trying to suck him into. So, I want AC to go, but I just want to make sure we're clear on the question. What I'm asking. I'm just isolating one of the ranges. I know you're trying to suck him back into where we feel he has the advantages. I'm asking you, if he decides to stay on the outside, I didn't say nothing about getting sucked back in at mid-range, because we're gonna do mid-range too. I'm just asking you, if Crawford says I'm gonna dance all night, you telling me he gonna forego that and get sucked back into a mid-range or a close-range fight?
Yes. I think that's how you beat Crawford. But if, to your question, to be very specific, if he comes in there and he says, I'm going to stay on the outside all night. It don't matter. That's what it is. Like he'll probably 8-4 him.
Who go 8-4 who?
Crawford going 8-4 Canelo.
Okay, so Crawford got the outside. Go ahead, AC, and then AC on top of the outside. Then we're gonna move to the mid range, and then give me your thought process if these two guys decide to do mid range in the center of the ring boxing, and then they go back to you 5-1-3. Go ahead, AC, you got the flow.
All right. From the outside, I'm gonna use as an example of an aggressive fighter who kept on pressing him. And if you watch the fight, you'll see what Bud kept on doing to keep him on the end of his punch. That's the Sean Porter fight. Sean Porter would press Bud up against the rope, and then Bud would spin out, do this double step back, and then a final half step and launch the uppercut. That's how you keep Canelo, honestly. He's a sucker for a good uppercut. That's his biggest flaw. If you look at his change in style, and if you look at everything about Canelo, a good jab, a good stiff jab, and you follow it up with an uppercut. So at the end of the day, when we were talking, when the panel was talking about pressing him up against the ropes, Bud is a master of getting off the ropes, turning you, and then going back to the boxing fundamental 6 commandments, where you have the 1 to 6. He'll throw any one of those combinations. So that's what's going to keep Canelo honest all fucking night. And if if Bud decides to fight him like that, I'm looking at an 8-3. Pretty much the same exact card, or even better than what I mean, it was some questionable bullshit with the Bivol card, but for all of us who watched it and scored the fight, we all had it basically at 8-3. You feel what I'm saying? Some people had it 8-2. I think that's a bit stretch, but I give him 8-3. I think that's what it more so looks like if Bud decides to stay on the outside. Now, if we're talking on the mid-range, again, that's where that uppercut comes into play. You're going to go with the 1 to 6, right? And then I believe it's the 5 and the 6 that have the uppercut in it. So if he throws those combinations with those half steps back, these are the things that Bud's arm reach advantage comes into play, because he can throw those shots that you don't see and come around with a back step looping hook that catches you, the same one that dropped Sean Porter. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to the mid-range fight, I look at Bud falling back on the pure fundamentals of that boxing 1 to 6 commandments, and using any one of those variations in the mid-range to actually put a wicked ass whipping on Canelo. Because Canelo is used to fighting a certain type of fighter, right? And he's used to guys coming in to a certain degree, falling for the trap because they're beat or starstruck or happy that they got that Canelo bag coming. So they forget the fundamentals of boxing. And I don't think a lot of guys are drilled in that 1 to 6 in the first place like Bud Crawford was. So at the end of the day, a mid-range fight, I'm going Bud Crawford takes it. It'll in the mid-range, that's where I think Bud has the ability to stop him.
Okay, nice. So AC, I agree with that. We're saying an 8-4, 9-3 for Bud if he decides to stay on the outside or he stay in that round. And then the inside, we saying that's because I agree with you. That's where we see the damage in favor of Bud Crawford. Now, 513, what's your take on mid-range boxing between the two? How you see it?
I think in the mid-range, that is less about skill than any other place in the ring and more about athletic qualities, reflex, being able to see the punches coming, respond to them, and with the proper shot, hand-eye coordination, foot coordination, stuff like that. Crawford just better. I mean, that's That's all you need to say.
Okay, then now 513 on the inside. Just so we clear, if they get in the pocket, Canelo on the ropes, playing possum, which we see him do, or Crawford find himself against the turnbuckle against Canelo, and he's on the front foot game, and Crawford just can't seem to create space in the mid range or and the outside. How do you see that fair for Crawford or and Canelo in the up close on the front foot?
When they get on the front foot, it's going to be a firefight. It's probably going to look not quite stylistically, but in ultimate effect, probably like what's my man Ryder. Just because the reason Ryder didn't get stopped was because Ryder presented some physical challenges, some toughness. He didn't want to. It was he would throw with Canelo, and when you throw with Canelo wants to make sure that he places the shot. He's gotten real economical with his punches. He kind of starting to get that Deontay Wilder problem. That is a concern. Like just to be fair, but what I ultimately think happens is Crawford is not going to be able to stay on the outside because of the patience. He's going to get robbed on the scorecards. You do not go to the scorecards with Canelo. If the fight close, you're not getting out of there with the W. And he know that his team is smart. So he's going to go in there trying to fight in the mid-range, I believe, and then it's going to get collapsed. The reason it's going to get collapsed is because he's going to underestimate Canelo's depth.
We're going to do the whole overall. We're going to put them all three together. I'm just trying to see, because we're going to put
my bad. I'm just trying to build to why I think the impact is going the way it's going to go.
Because you be snaking it, so I was going to say overall what you think gonna happen. So you giving us both. So I guess go ahead and give us your overall synopsis of the fight. But I would say inside, but go ahead, do you think?
Yeah, but so on the inside, I think Canelo has one of the best short range jabs in the sport, and I think he also got some of the best body work. Now Bud does too, but the problem is he never been hit by a natural middleweight, a natural super middleweight neither. So this is going to be a different experience when it comes to just overall durability. We know that the only question that's ever been had about Terence Crawford is the accumulation of punishment. Like, can he withstand that over time? We have seen at certain points he's been rocked, or maybe it's looked like he's been vulnerable. So that's the only question that you have about Terence Crawford. And then also one of the positives about him on the inside is that he let his hands go. And when you let your hands go on the inside, Canelo is with the shorter arms, and the shorter fighter is going to be able to have leverage. So with the shorter arms and the height that he has, he's already used to bending at the waist and at the knee and digging into the shot. So he's going to already have the leverage on him. From that standpoint, it's like offensive line, low man win. And on the inside, Canelo is going to be able to be the low man consistently.
Okay, all right. So AC on the inside, and then your overall vision on how the fight will take place.
On the inside, part of me is seeing a 50-50 fight. I give Canelo his props on his high guard when he goes into the high guard and then plants his feet. His upper body movement is truly amazing when he's on the inside. I give him plus points on that. I give Canelo points on his hook. I believe it's his left hook that's extremely dangerous when he's in close, and that's the punch when they're going to be in close that is going to worry me the most, because it's fast, it's crisp, and it's a lot of fucking torque behind it, because you always hear when it lands. Even if it lands on the arms, you always hear that shit. You feel what I'm saying? So for Bud, what I think Bud needs to do to neutralize that is probably go into an old school, maybe Philly style of boxing. Piece him up, wrap him up, push him off, piece him up, close the gap, wrap him up, piece him up. You know what I'm saying? Try to win the inside on points. Although I have the caveat to that is, from what I've seen Bud at 135, at 140, and at 147, he's a hell of a motherfucking fighter as well on the inside. And that's an underrated game that people tend not to see. Just like I keep mentioning, you know, Bud fights, he spars constantly with a natural 168 pounder in So Cold. So he has that experience on knowing how to take that punch and get out and get out of that and get out of that. I'm not saying So Cold is Canelo Alvarez. I'm not saying that by a long shot, but what I'm saying is So Cold is a hell of a boxer. He has a great IQ and he has a lot of power behind him. So even that in Houston Alexander. So I'm gonna keep relying on the fact that Bud spars with guys that are 2, 3, even 4 times his weight, and he's handling and he's doing his thing. At the end of the day, on the inside, I may lean towards Canelo having that slight advantage because he's acclimated to the weight. And that's where that slight advantage comes when it comes down to the athleticism on the inside and being able to turn with the fighter. I think that's where Canelo is lacking. Overall synopsis is Bud coming in, controlling the distance from the outside, doing some damage at mid-range, and then fucking his head up by going on the inside and throwing some shots, tying them up, shoot out to the outside, and then start controlling them from the outside. I think that's probably what the game plan is going to be, because at the end of the day, between Red Spikes, the Spanish dude, I always fuck up his name, and Bomac, and Free Bomac, they always put together a plan that nullifies the opponent's best attributes. And I'm also going to go back to the Sean Porter fight, how he controlled, where people were saying Sean Porter was winning. Yeah, it looked like he was winning, but when you look at the fight breakdowns, that boy could have been stopped since the second and or third round. So at the end of the day, I'm still going with Bud. I think it's going to come down to a unanimous decision, maybe some fuckboy shit on the card that gives him a split decision. But Bud lately has been on a spree of not leaving it in the judge's hands. And with that type of mentality, expect a stoppage or another, like my man Cam has the video out, another Bud TKO. So that's how I'm going to call it.
All right, good breakdowns. I agree with both. I think on the outside, I think he wins the fight at a 90% rate. I just think that he got to be careful to make it not look like running, and they kind of feel like he didn't win that round because he's quote unquote running. But I think Crawford will have easy success on the outside at about a 90% rate. I got it like 90-10 if it's going to be on the outside all night, and it'll have to be a robbery for Canelo to win with Crawford dancing all night. Now, in the mid-range, this is where it gets dangerous for Canelo. I think it's 100% chance that Crawford wins the fight. I mean, into a stoppage or knockdown. Something's going to happen bad to Canelo if he stays in mid-range with Crawford. And I got Crawford definitely dismantling him at mid-range. On the inside, I think it's more 60-40. I even lean towards 70-30 for Canelo, that he could definitely stop and brutalize Crawford in the inside game. I think Canelo, the weight will help. I think the strength will help. And Canelo body punching is sick. And Crawford will have to be cautious of that, because if you go into the inside too early and try to get too cute, Canelo might not be able to take advantage of you in the first, second, third round, maybe even fourth. But round the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, those body shots and those arm shots and him being able to hit you wherever he wants to hit you at, this is Canelo, it's going to pay dividends on Crawford's body, which would neutralize him being able to be effective in the mid-range and on the outside. So I think Crawford needs to come in with the mindset of working from the outside in as opposed to the inside out or even at the mid-range. I think he needs to teeter back and forth between center of the ring, mid-range, giving him those looks, busting them to his chops, and then kind of getting back on the outside, resetting, seeing if you could bait Canelo into some things. Because Canelo feet is in quicksand, and he will pause and high guard and kind of shake his head. But at the same time, you're getting hit, Canelo, and you're losing the fucking fight. So there are spaces where Canelo sit there and just show you that he's not affected. I don't know why he does that, but he will sit there and let his nuts hang even though he's losing the fight. And that's not a good look against Crawford, because I definitely see him getting cut up across the face messing with Crawford. And that's my prediction. That's my thoughts. I agree with what most of you guys are saying. I just say inside is for Canelo, mid-range and outside is going to be for Crawford. And listen, we finna get ready to wrap this up because football finna come on in about 50 minutes. So Detroit versus Kansas City. Definitely finna get in front of TV for that. 513, you take us home. Tell everybody where they can find you. AC, you do the same thing after 513, and then I'm going to close it out. Go ahead, 513. You got the flow.
Hey, yo, man, good conversation, man. I love talking sweet science, man. Really getting into it, sharing different perspectives and opinions with other grown men. You know what I'm saying? Salute. Keeping it respectful as well, man. Ishmael Polygraph 513 Boxing. You already know how I give it up. You can check me out on my channel. I'm just talking same kind of shit we talking now. Like I don't like the gossip stuff. You know what I'm saying? I like to get straight into the sweet science, talk about, you know what I'm saying, the X's and O's of the sport, to use an analogy from football since that's coming on later. So, but that's about it, man. Y'all enjoy y'all evening. I appreciate y'all. And thanks for having me on, man.
All right, 513. That's my boy right there. All right, AC, go ahead and take us home. Where can they find you? And close it out.
Basically, like I said before, my channel is more geared towards cooking, and those of us out here who play airsoft. I want to give a big shout out to Tony. No disrespect. We all get passionate. We might have both got caught up in the Malik Scott sensitivity type thing. You feel what I'm saying? But it's all good. It's all gravy. You know what I'm saying? I respect what you do. I hope you respect what I do and everything, because they're both kind of related, because we both deal with the human anatomy. As far as the conversation today, excellent conversation. You know what I'm saying? I like chopping it up like this about the fight. I like when the facts come in and things like that. I don't like to go to the conspiracy side of boxing or the weird theories and stuff like that. It's just A plus B always is followed by C. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the person to go into the 1 and 1 equals 11 type shit. So at the end of the day, another great one from Zone 6, man. I gotta catch a lot of your shows, because I seen you had a live earlier today or yesterday and everything, and I gotta see what's going on with my notifications and shit like that, because I catch a lot of your stuff on the playback. So again, I'm gonna subscribe to a lot of people's channel that I was chopping it up with, because I was writing your names down. And I just want to hear what you have to say on the other side. And if you see me in your comments or whatever, you know, I'm just letting you know I support your channel.
Yes, sir, my man AC. And to close out, man, let me say this to y'all. Listen, it's always a pleasure. Tony Reviews is our buddy. He knows that. We don't have to. Well, no, we do got to say that. He is our buddy, and the dude knows his medical shit. I definitely love when he goes into the doping. I kind of listen to him because he knows his shit on that. And Tony gonna come in with the fire, which always makes every show great when Tony comes in, because he's gonna say some shit and people are gonna be like, Tony always makes it fun. AC is always cool. He always makes it fun. And both of these guys are awesome, because if you work out and you're in shape and stuff like that, you need a nutritionist like AC. And you do need a guy like Tony to understand blood doping and what to watch out for and how to use it. To be quite honest with you, if I'm a professional boxer, AC would be my chef and Tony would be my strength and conditioning coach. Just being honest with you. because both of these guys have different perspectives, but they're both proficient at what they do, and they both are into health. Food is medicine, and Tony's just into playing out medicine. So both of these guys are awesome. 513 always come through his thing. So is Kush. Kush is my guy. Everybody that came through, Shelton, the OG, appreciate you for stopping by and spending time with me. But we got to get to the football. I had some time today to play with the boxing, but the Detroit Lions and Kansas City game is upon us, and I got fantasy football to watch. We got 42 minutes. Good conversation, man. Hypothetical, just to change the pace of things. We're going to come back, and we're going to crank up some of this AJ and Wilder talk and some of this Tyson Fury big man antics. It's time to talk about some Tyson Fury and the Ndonga fight, battle of the big mans. And we got to talk about what's going on with Usyk. And we got to talk about what's going on with AJ and Wilder. For the record, I got Wilder destroying AJ in 3 fucking rounds. Okay? I got that. I got Canelo beating Jamil by stoppage 7 or 8 coming in a few weeks. And I'll let you guys know if anything changed. Other than that, man, y'all enjoy some football. I appreciate everybody for joining me. And we're going to close it out with the
Boxologist, Zone 6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.